Apart from them, every other team in the competition has played in at least one grand final from 1999 onwards.
Yeah.
In fact, it's really from 2001 onwards, given the fact that the Bombers and the D's played in 2000. They both played in one since. 2001 onwards, where Essendon then played in their last. So they've got the longest drought just to get there to grand final day, these two teams. The full preview, Cameron Ling and Mick Malthouse on ABC Sport.
Well, it's funny, isn't it? We talk about the day and the importance of the day and the beautiful scenes we just saw with going through the banner. And then there needs to be a point where the players and the coaches kick their minds straight over to, okay, game time. Time to perform. Time to execute everything that we've been working on during the week, what we've been talking about, how we've approached this pre-game, and you've got to get the job done. You've got a Carlton team, Mick, who finally get their win last week and against a very ordinary, very, very ordinary team. So now they've got to back it up and beat another team that you would say they should beat. Certainly coming into the season, you would say that. Whereas North Melbourne, they've got a chance to say, okay, we had that great win against Melbourne, then we've let ourselves down for a couple of weeks, but we have made these improvements, and here's how we can deliver against a really good Carlton team. So it's game time, it's perform time, and both of them need to do it. And I am probably always guilty of doing this, Mick, but I do straight away go to the middle of the ground and look at it. Sam Walsh back to his best last week, again against a pretty B-grade opposition. Cripps is a star. Hewitt found heaps of the footy. Chera found a bit of the footy. But this North Melbourne midfield is starting to take some shape as to what maybe they could be a pretty formidable midfield over the coming years.
Well, interesting to say, Lingy, Carlton, North Melbourne, one win each against sides that haven't won a game.
Yeah.
So the two bottom sides, Melbourne and West Coast, have been the victims. And it's not surprising because both of those sides are really struggling. We have a little tipping competition within the family, and I just, there's something says to outside of knowing, I can't remember what it was like when Carlton played last week. Was it really, I guess it was hot. I forget what time they played.
It was same time as you guys were in the Barossa.
Yeah, okay, so it was pretty hot. So this may go down to how either side have reacted to that heat. The raw heat up in Barossa was just extraordinary. And North Melbourne did fall away, but the year has fallen away after half time. So, is it? It can't be fitness, because I think there's an element that says that there might be 1 or 2% in any football club. We're getting away from anyone says 10%. They're totally wrong. It gets down to how long can you sustain your concentration and your pressure. They're the two components. Carlton, to me, probably can hang on longer. But I'm not overly convinced that the goals they kicked last week were against a very poor side. And I just look at the goal scoring at the moment. And quite frankly, it is really disturbing that they can't kick a massive score. North Melbourne have kicked good scores, marginally better than Carlton, but they're giving up so much. So one would suspect that unless North Melbourne come and start to think defence first, that this game could get away from them. But I'm not sold on either side.
Well, no, and I've been asking this from Carlton for a little bit, that I want them freed up more. So it plays into what you're talking about with the ability to score. I think there is enough talent on this Carlton team to trust that they can play a little bit more instinctive, a little bit more free-flowing, a little bit more open, and not risk ending up getting massive scores against them the other way. In fact, I think it'll help them defend, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, and they'll score more. I don't mind trusting Jacob Weeder in getting caught one-on-one. Yeah. It's going to be caught one-on-one on a very good player today in Nick Larkey, but I'm okay with Weeder in getting caught one-on-one if it means we are taking the game on a little bit more.
Yeah, well, just on that, I would be manipulating my forward line at North Melbourne to keep Larkey away from Weedering.
So, how do you do that? Because you bring him higher?
Bring him higher and flank, and I do what suits my leg. So he's a right footer, so therefore I would be starting at full forward, working to the half forward flank on the right side, up to centre half forward, back to full forward. I just keep moving. Weedering loves a set target.
Does it mean Jack Darling tries to end up with the matchup at Wiedering?
Has to, if he can. And then Jack Darling will get eaten up by him. But I don't mind him getting eaten up by him because he's not going to kick a lot of goals anyway.
Yep.
So you'd have to keep Wiedering. So as I say, I'd start Larky full forward, work to the what we call the left half forward flank, up into the centre of the ground, up into the centre half forward, back then in that little patch of working that arc all the time so it keeps Wiedering. Yes, he's going to know eventually what sort of pattern he's running, but what it's going to do is going to keep him moving. Wiedering is not quick, and on the lead he gets done. But if you're going to stand still and start him out of the goal square, you're in trouble.
Tim Hodges is with us on the boundary this afternoon. You've heard from him a couple of times already. He's in position, ready to go in the front row. Hello, Hodgie.
Hey, Corbin. Sorry about the voice in advance. A win for Jai Simpkin at the toss of the coin. North Melbourne will kick to the Footscray end of the stadium. That's left of screen if you're at home watching, listening to us. A very warm April Friday in Melbourne, a top of 31 outside. It's humid and sticky inside as the sun bakes the lid, so it is warm. It's a real big event feel. Both clubs have done a wonderful job with the Children's Hospital and so many of the sick kids this week. All seats are sold. Standing room is the only way you can get access to the stadium today. So North Melbourne expecting a crowd of around 48,000 people. Just repeating, no late changes. The subs for the Kangaroos, it's Zane Dersma. For Carlton, Cooper Lord. And Lingy, I know you spotted this young fella. His name is Levi. He's missing part of his right leg. It was a beautiful moment before the young kids got to run out. His dad picked him up, and another man, I'm not sure if he was known to the family, helped on the other side. Michael Voss saw this. The young man, Levi, had a Carlton jumper on. Michael Voss came over and gave the family an enormous bear hug. It is just a beautiful setup, this game, that means so much more than football and 4 points to put a smile on so many of these sick kids. It was genuinely emotional watching it.
The game that transcends the footy itself, the Good Friday Super Clash for the kids at the Royal Children's Hospital. That is North Melbourne and Carlton. Away we go on ABC Sport with Ben Cameron.
Sherry into Koning. Sherry wins the tap down straight to Davey Juniak, who's wrapped up immediately there in the arms of Hewitt.
Tom Powell looks like he's got Paddy Cripps. Oh, now they've changed it.
Umpire puts it aloft again. Sherry taps it down, falls into his lap, can't gather it. Davey Juniak can. Handball away to Sheasel, snaps a kick to half forward. Bouncing ball, bad bounce there from McKercher. Coming through Sard, leaves it behind. McGovern mops up, half back for the Blues. Off to Chera, now Hewitt in the middle. He'll get a snap away up towards Cripps, and he takes it at centre half forward for Carlton.
Saw him play forward last week against the Eagles. He gets forward again here, looks threatening, goes wide to Curnow, who marks at left half forward. Curnow's going to go, Mick. Doesn't waste any time. Low trajectory, drop punt goalward, but misses near side or behind. First score, 40 seconds in, a behind for Curnow.
And Cripps from the stoppage, the bit of contested play, he just immediately ran forward.
Yeah.
So he's going to, looks like he might take the centre bounce, maybe the middle of the ground stoppages, and just look to push forward hard.
He had 6 shots last week, kicked 3 goals, 3.
I'm interested to see where he plays in and what North do with him, because he's had 2 opponents already.
Comben kicks long for the Roos, up towards the wing. Darling goes up, doesn't mark. Silvani there for the Blues. Off to Ollie Hollins, it goes to McGovern. Kick to Cripps on the wing. Off to Cottrell by hand. Long kick inside 50. Looking for a marker, Comben. Too big and too strong marks in the back pocket for the Roos. Carlton lead it by a point. We've played a minute 30. This is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Oh, Comben to Tucker, just got it to him at half-back, and immediately he goes. Handball to Power, gets it back. Tucker for the Roos, kicks in the middle of the ground. Wiedering breaks it up, but straight to Simpkin. Simpkin's handball to Larky, who's out now. Haynes comes and closes him down. Got a handball away under pressure. Simpkin between wing and half-forward collects, kicks inside 50. Curtis bobs up in front of Zerha and takes the mark. He could have raffled it right half forward, wide out.
Yeah, but that's where Zerha has got to be screaming at his teammate, your ball, your ball. You don't know what's coming.
Don't run there.
Yeah, and you hear that noise of a body behind you. And Curtis, just for a moment, probably thought someone was about to smash him. Didn't know, and therefore juggled the mark, and has now ended up with a harder shot at goal because it's closer to the boundary line due to the juggle.
30 goals last year. He's got a dozen already. The left footer, Paul Curtis. That's a superb drop punt. He kicks the first of the day. Curtis starts his afternoon with a goal. And the Kangas off on the right note. One straight. Carlton one behind. We're 2.5 minutes in. It's North Melbourne by 5. The Good Friday Super Clash. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, don't worry about where you take the shot from when you kick it like that. Beautiful kick from Curtis. We both like him a lot, don't we, Mick? He's a threat in the air, very clever at ground level, great size. Yep.
Yeah, and he's got football smarts.
Yeah. Even that way, we're watching it on the replay, just the way he back-led, but then didn't sprint lead because he didn't have to. He wanted to stay in a pocket of space, so he almost just cruised into that spot. That's a genuine forwards mindset. He's
one of the really good, smart forwards in the competition too. I know we say that against North Melbourne, but he is genuinely smart.
There's a new doubt as well, so I'm sure today taking on extra meaning. Sherry the tap, but Cripps picks it off, gives it to Hewitt, Blues away. Short kick to Durden. Back to Hewitt running by. Half forward for the Blues, looks into the pocket. Up goes Curnow, juggles it. 35 out, 10 metres in from the boundary line, left forward pocket.
Yeah, well, he's already a danger. This is his second mark. That first kick he did, that was 60 metres every inch, wasn't it? And it missed by, about a metre. So he keeps him so flat. He
half-kicked that one too, and it went 60.
Yeah. No, he's already a danger. He has to be, because I don't know whether they've got any real legitimate forwards down there outside of him.
Kicked 4 goals in both games against North last year, Charlie Curnow. His drop punt from 45 is sliding through the middle. Curnow gives Carlton the instant response. And they snatch back the lead. 1-1, 7 plays, 1 straight 6. 4.5 minutes into the opening term. This is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Interesting, I was watching him warm up and he missed a couple. And they were 40 metres out, and I was thinking there's no one on his mark, and is he off the boil? You know, he hasn't had a great year. I know he's been injured. So his year start, I think his pre-season was disrupted again, which bigger, taller players generally take time then to get back in the game. But the 2 kicks today, I know one missed, but it was an absolute rocket that come off his boot, and that one there, that's a fantastic goal, and 2 marks.
14 goals in his last 3 games against the Roos.
Yeah.
He's gone 4-4-6. 6 goals in this fixture back in 2023. 4 in each of the 2 meetings last year. DeConing over the top, wins the hit out. Footy comes back to him for the Blues. Handball to Hewitt. Shakes a would-be tackle. Handball over the top to Sard. Caught flat-footed. McKercher came and got him. Hand pass away to Chera. 70 out at half forward. Kicks inside 50. Curnow trying to work his way to the front. Spills it late. Daniel for the Roos. Handball to Stevens. Back to Daniel. Has it on the back flank. Low trajectory kick. Spears it through to Zerha. Got it on the hop. And he retreats back by hand to Daniel. Still at half back.
Kicks off a step. Finds McKercher just. Sard was closing late. The umpire pays the mark. Just backward of the logo.
Oh, Davies Uniacke just got knocked down off the ball. Umpire didn't see it. Otherwise, that's 50 to North.
McKercher goes really short on the required distance. So Davies Uniacke goes back to Daniel. Centre half back. Retreats inside the defensive 50 and Logue marks. Roos look out towards the city wing. Mark taken out there by Aidan Corr. Still just backward of halfway. They've completed the switch, but no go forward here for the Rouge yet. As Corr looks up to Larkey, right there with him, Wiedering. He punches it out. And a throwing coming between wing and half forward for the Kangas.
He's a former teammate, by the way, Aidan Corr of Brett Delidio. And Lids tells us reliably his nickname is Apples, which sort of makes sense if your surname's Corr. So I didn't mind that.
That's very good.
Apples.
See, footy players can be clever.
Carlton by a point, 1-1 to 1 straight. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. A goal, 1 each way so far. 1 to Curtis, 1 to Curnow. Picked up by Sheasel here to Daniel. Handball back into dispute. A 1-on-1. Simpkin and Sard up, lets them roll. Hewitt wins it. Hand pass away to Cottrell, kicks down the wing. Awkward floater for Louis Young. Eventually gets down there, picks it up. Handball to Motlob. Handball turnover. Picked up by Davies Uniacke on the wing. North with it to Simpkin, to Sheasel. Now to Daniel. He goes back to Davies Uniacke. Kicks from inside the centre square. Turnover straight to Haynes.
Another one of Brett Delidio's former GWS teammates. Swings a handball for Carlton towards Ollie Hollands, who gives it off to Wiedering. Half-back flank kicks to the wing. Mark taken by Akers.
So when Haynes intercepts that ball, I want to see that go straight through the middle of the ground, not come wide again.
Goes to Ollie Hollins, who kicks into the middle of the ground. Dangerous kick, and the Roos come up with it. Sherry, handball away to Sheasel. Handball over the top, running by Zurha. Runs into trouble. Don't argue. Shrugs a second tackle. Kicks inside 50. Back leadings Curtis into the pocket. Tries to slap it on. Chera arrives. Larky's there in the goal square. And it's rushed away through for a minor score. So the Blues get away with one. Dangerous kick into the middle. Scores level, 1-1-7 apiece, 8 played.
But don't do that dangerous one into the middle, because by then North have got set. As soon as Nick Haynes intercepted the mark in the middle of the ground at half-back, go from there. Don't send it wide. I think that's the difference, Mick. I want them freed up.
Timing.
To get an intercept and then go. Don't try and invent one 4 kicks later.
Blues working out of defence. Cottrell on the back flank, kicks down the wing. Oh, no mark there for Elijah Hollins. Ball comes down Carlton's way. Young to Motlop. Motlop, handball back to Young. In a fast motion under pressure. Kicks inside the forward 50. Curnow can't quite trap it. Wins it at ground level. Chucks it on the boot for 2 to start. He misses just to the near side. He's got their entire score, Curnow. So 1-2-8 Carlton, 1-2-8 Curnow. North Melbourne 1-1-7. The Blues by a point. 9 gone opening term.
Sharp too, Curnow. That ball hit the deck and he was right onto it.
Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Stevens stabs the kick into the pocket, and Finn O'Sullivan, picked 2 in last year's draft, just 18 years of age.
Correct, boy.
Playing game number 5. Kicks up towards the wing. Silvani, good position and marks. So Carlton back with it, just forward of the wing, eastern side of the ground. City side of the ground, I should say, as he looks inside 50, trying to get it to Motlop. Off hands, Davies Uniacke pinches it. Rouge with a couple of handballs. Combin's back into the mark. Now they're under pressure. Cottrell goes in. Combin gets rid of it. Core comes in. Spins in the tackle. Gets a handball away. Motlop still fighting after it. High free kick. It'll go to the Blues. So Motlop ends up with a free kick. The mark set 46 metres out. Harry Sheasel, the offending party.
Yeah, and it was there. Just Motlop was in the process of going to ground, but he was already down. That's when he got tackled. It wasn't as if he was up and went down.
He chose to go to his knees, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
But then you have to adjust as the tackler.
Yeah.
Might be right on his range here. Boot to ball from right on the 50. It won't have the distance. To the goal square it goes. Punched away, hits the ground. Logue comes in. His handball stripped. Durden gets it on the boot and goals. Back-to-back majors for the Baggers. They're 2-2-14, North 1-1-7. We've played 10.5 in this opening term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Created by Charlie Curnow again, though, Mick. You mentioned it right from the start, how sharp he looked. It was his tackle on Logue, just created the little spillage, and Durden pounced on it and finished it off nicely. But even more so with what I've been asking about freeing Carlton up to move the footy. When Charlie Curnow's in this sort of mood and looking as sharp as he is, kick it there as often and as quickly as you can.
Lingy, I just find it frustrating that you can't secure the ball down there when there's a backline player. When there's a lot of traffic, either go to the goal line or just belt it out.
Or just boot it, yeah.
You know, trying to create play.
Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
Corbin George Wardlaw has had so many soft tissue injuries and gets his first run of the game, was mobbed as he ran onto the ground and gets his first kick and a clearance.
How good's that? Right on cue as Wardlaw sends it out towards half forward. Cottrell, though, picks it off. In fact, it's stolen by his teammate Walsh. He says, I'll take it, and handball away towards McGovern. Gives it back to Ollie Hollins. Kicks down the wing for his brother Elijah. Left it behind. Cottrell to Walsh. Lends some support. Handball to Hewitt. 70 out. Kicks inside 50. Curnow the target. Logue knocks it away from him. Footy comes to Logue, and he's tackled. Curnow and Durden, the 2 goal kickers so far for the Blues, and a ball up.
I'll tell you what, Wardlaw got that kick because of some very smart play. He used the umpire bouncing the ball as a way of just getting half a metre. Very clever.
Sherry hooks it down behind. Chera shakes a would-be tackle, kicks goalward, he's offline, and in the end Logue's there on the behind line to make sure of it. A minor score. It is Carlton 2-3, North Melbourne 1-1, an 8-point lead for the Blues. 12 minutes into the game. A Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron, Cameron Ling, Mick Moldhouse and Tim Hodges.
Zach Fisher with the kick in, long left leg up towards the wing, off the hands of the pack, picked up there by Wardlaw. Handball forward for North to Stevens on the logo. Handball errant, picked off by Ollie Hollins. Carlton in possession. He goes to ground and loses it. Then turns tackler on Simpkin. Umpire wants it.
Dived
on the ball.
Hodgie, how hot is it down there? How stifling is the heat for the fans and the players alike?
Oh, what, did Mick put you up to that, did he?
Come on, we just want to know what the weather's like, really, Hodgie.
No, it is. It's warm. I mean, the sun bakes the lid that is shut, and everything underneath just gets hotter and more stickier and humid. And considering it's 31 degrees outside, it is very, very warm inside and uncomfortable for players and for fans, more importantly, I guess.
North on the outskirts of the stoppage, had it, lost it, and then Chera at halfback for the Blues. He too coughs it up. Simpkin to Powell and now to Fisher, the former Blue. Kicks for Larkey. Takes a juggle.
That is a mark.
Called it touched.
Gee, umpire didn't pay that.
Wow.
Wardlaw collects. Handball away to Zurha. Hooks a high up and under. A big fly from Curtis. That'll be paid.
Good mark. That mark was it Larkey?
Yeah.
Absolute certain mark. I don't know why they would call that as a player.
Oh, it's a nice grab by Curtis, though, isn't it?
That's payback. That's a terrific mark. One of three. There was 3 Carlton players there. Couldn't keep him out of it. You just got to move your body away, keep that player away from the ball. But great mark.
But high hopes coming in for this fixture. 2, 1 and 4 teams. A competitive match-up, and it's living up to that hype so far. Curtis with a couple. And the game is within a kick once more. 14 gone in this opening term. 2-3 to 2-1. There's the Blues by a couple of points, but Paul Curtis just trims that margin. What a start for him. He's kicked 2, and we've only been going 10 minutes. This is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
I think there'd be a big worry. It's been in there 3 times, 2 goals. And Carlton have gone in 8 times for, what are they?
Same, 2 goals.
2 goals straight, is it? 2 goals, 1. 2 goals, 3, 5. So they've actually gone in over 50% too. So they're the worry at the moment that North don't have to go in there too often to score.
Yeah, and each time they've, Larkey probably had the mark himself there, but then they get it, and Curtis gets another mark.
Yep.
And so looking very threatening. Their challenge is get it in some more.
There's your boy at full forward. Patrick Cripps.
Is that Sheasel on him? No.
I hope not.
No, that's not. Don't worry, take that back.
14th goal of the year for Paul Curtis, putting together a very good year as a small forward. Out of the middle, Williams for the Blues. Forward handball to Chera. Kicks inside, attacking 50. Kerno's there. Overshoots him out the back. Comben for the Roos. Clearing kick up to the wing. Up they go. Constanti getting it right on Chera. Doesn't take the mark. Sheasel robes the pack. Kanga's bounce off to Stevens. Wardlaw dispossessed in the tackle. Elijah Hollins picks it up for Carlton. Gets a handball away. And then Young's kick, a shocker. Slides off the side of the boot. Only in the direction of the Roos on the halfback flank.
As Tucker collects, goes back by hand to Core. Kerno closes him down, kicks down the wing. Darling flies for it. No mark, hits the deck. Wardlaw hits it at pace, collects. Handball to Curtis, 70 metres out. He goes deep, 2-on-1. Larkey beats them both. Larkey wins the 2-on-1. And he'll shoot from the behind line about 5 metres out. That is a full forwards mark there.
Who kicked that ball in there?
Curtis.
I was going to think.
Oh, no. He's hit the post.
Larkey has played on in a rush, snapped it straight into the near post. And for all the celebrations, the Roos have left a certain goal out there. Carlton by just a point, 16 in.
Yeah, he's not going to get many more chances if he's going to.
Here go the Blues very quickly. Fogarty gives it off to Walsh from the logo. Kicks inside 50 for Cripps. Hard up against the boundary line. Pulls it back to the hot spot. Bouncing ball. Caleb Daniel cleans up for the Roos. Off to the slippery fish. Here is Fisher kicking long up to the wing. Up goes Zurha. Takes it off hands. No mark paid. He'll wheel and go.
Wants to get it going forward. Kicks a flower bag and picked up by Wiedering, who takes the intercept mark.
4v1, a 4v2 backline versus North Melbourne's forward. You can't allow that to take place.
Blues with McGovern to Chera and now to Durden. Short kicking game. Further afield up to Sard.
Just gone into a little portion of circle work there. Came in one side, out the other. Now they're going to attack through the corridor, but turnover.
Back to McGovern. Bad
great
kick.
tackle.
Short kick inboard. Finds Zurha. He's locked up. Williams makes sure he's going nowhere. Ball up in the centre square. Carlton by a point. 17 minutes in. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
You're pointing at Wardlaw?
How good has he been? He's just like the drover's dog. He just keeps going at him.
He's had 5 since he's come onto the ground just a short time ago. Ball bobbling around. Half forward here for the Roos. Free kick picked out. It'll go the way of the Blues.
Well, I think it's because he come underneath.
Yeah. Okay.
Under the
Silvani
legs.
takes it, kicks up towards the broadcast wing. Onto it quickly, Chera pokes it over the top, trying to get it to Fogarty. Gore closes late, spoils it down, wins it. Roos back in possession. O'Sullivan off to Tucker. Now Parker kicking off a step, snapping it out wide, and McKercher, he marks, takes the basket catch just in the field of play on the wing.
Well, that was great desperation by North Melbourne. It was
Aiden Core.
It was a call that got there. That was magnificent because that was a mark every day of the week.
McKercher inboard finds Tucker, who's been busy. Handball away to Parker. Long kick inside 50. Wiedering gets back and marks in front of Larkey.
Gee, Larkey had done the move and had got free and was going to take the mark. Was Wiedering coming off Darling then to help out? Yeah.
Wiedering at fullback for the Blues. Gives it to Silvani. The blue blood kicks long down the line and Young takes the mark. Gets a bit of separation there. Handball to the boundary line. Finds the run of Akers. Back in the team today. Short kick to Fogarty. He marks 60 out. And this would be not to mention, by the way, as Fogarty turns it over cold, straight into the hands of McKercher at half-back. The Blues in their navy blue jumper with the white shorts and the white monogram. And for North Melbourne, they're all in their white base jumper with the royal blue stripes and the blue shorts. A kick from O'Sullivan comes out wide, finds Core, who's up against the boundary line, still at half-back. Carlton by a point as we approach time on opening term.
Long kick up in the Sherry direction. He spoiled it down, nearly took the mark. Sheasel comes in to help out. Gets a handball away. Fogarty in the spin. Gets a handball for the Blues off to McGovern. He's wrapped up immediately. The umpire wants it. Umpires Howson, Johansson, Meredith and Dorr in charge of this fixture. Ball up on the wing. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Sherry down for Wardlaw again. Handball turnover to Walsh of the Blues, who gives it to Sard. Kicks infield. Mark taken by Akers. Off to McGovern. Sweeping handball. Off to the run. Cruising by of Carroll. Just loping by. His left foot kick inside 50. Durden gets the right on McDonald and comes down with the ball. It was the accidental hanger.
Yeah. It was a beauty. He took some courage to go for the mark. Yeah, you're right, just a little accidental ride. Make
He
it look
jumped
good.
up to take the mark, and McDonald sort of got between him and he got an accidental ride.
You claim that as a hanger? I would anyway. I didn't take many.
If he didn't take it, everyone would be screaming out that he was tunnelled.
Yeah, true.
Directly in front. Mark set 30 metres out. Durden extends the Blues lead, and it's a Durden double. He's got 2. 3-3-21 plays 2-2-14. Time on opening term. Mick Malthouse, Cameron Ling. This is Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, good Friday, and it's a good game. It is a really good contested game. Both sides are throwing themselves, and so you should. At a game like this, you just understand. I would suggest that both coaches would have said, well, we know how brave the kids are that we're talking about, so let's not leave anything on the ground. And there's been some great bravery. There's been some good run. It's actually a good game of football.
It is, and I hate to go back because we both like him so much. That shot of goal from Nick Larkey when North had done that great passage of play, got there, he'd taken that outstanding mark. They just need those little rewards for their great play. They're not probably going to find it as easy at times to get the goals. So it was a crucial miss.
Kicked 4 last week, Durden. He's got 2 in the opening term, so it's 5 quarters back for the year. He's kicked 6 goals. As Walsh first clean possession in the middle, handball to Wardlaw, who's locked up.
Wardlaw just finds it, doesn't he? He's exactly where the ball is at all times.
He looks like anything but a league footballer. I don't know why. I think it might be the socks that are down and
black boots. Beatles haircut.
Ringo Starr.
The Blues win it. Walsh away towards Sard, kicks to centre half forward. Comden spoils. Durden clever, taps it down to Young, gets a kick going further forward. Fisher though there to break it up, left it behind, goes back, collects, and his old mate Kerno got him high.
That's well done by Fisher. Really well done by Fisher because he has been on.
They're not happy with it either as a few of his teammates come in to remonstrate. Of course, Zach Fisher played the first portion of his career with the Blues He's now coming up against his old team for the 3rd time. He has yet to beat Carlton since crossing over. First time he played against them, he swapped jumpers with Paddy Cripps at the end of the game. I think it was this game last year where They had their little switch at the end of play. So WA boys who then live together, making their way across to Victoria, and now at different teams. Long kick down the line, it's knocked out of bounds, and a throw-in on the wing. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
Corbin, some concern for the Blues. Mitch McGovern came off a right shoulder. He had some treatment on it, was still troubled by it, so the doc and he have just gone down to the room. So a right shoulder for Mitch McGovern is the issue at the moment.
Thanks, Hodgie. Great work. Free kick from the throw-in on the wing, going the way of Sherry.
Good duel, this. Really good.
Yeah.
Contrasting ruckman. One is probably the old-fashioned type, which is Jerry, and the other one you've got Mackay is
De Koning.
De Koning, what am I talking about?
Athletic.
De Koning, yeah, is really athletic.
Sherry kicks up to half forward, and Silvani takes the mark out, points George Wardlaw there. Silvani looks longer up towards the wing. Right there, Comben, he misses it. Young goes out the back for the Blues. Knocks it on cleverly. Sits up for Hewitt. Gets the handball away. Now Walsh cruising through 50. Handball onto Cripps. It'll sit up for him. Left foot snap. Will float through. He's brutal and brilliant. Paddy Cripps can do it all. Reincarnated as a forward. Carlton lead by 13 points. 4-3-27. Plays 2-2-14. 24 minutes into the first. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling.
Superb goal, Patrick Cripps. I mean, what a player he is. The superlatives could go all day about him. Little thing here, Mick, and I'm never one for playing for a free kick, but Dylan Stevens out on the wing there. A Carlton player came sliding in. He just chose to almost jump and avoid any contact. If he'd just drawn any sort of below the leg contact, he would have had a free kick paid to him, because it was a clear slide in by the Carlton player. You just have to be professional and play it smart there and draw your team a free kick.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely
clearly available to him. He chose to completely get out of the way of it.
Special goal for Paddy Cripps now at the coalface, but De Koning wins it down to Motlop, who bursts away. A famous North Melbourne name as he kicks inside 50. Young, hands on it, no mark. Picked up at the back by Daniel. He's tackled by Young.
Well, that's
ball
holding the
held
footy.
in,
No, it's
holding the ball.
Yeah, he was on the ground when he grabbed
Picked it
it
up
and dragged it in. And once you do, it doesn't matter if it's pinned to you, it's your responsibility to get it out.
Yeah.
It was a mistake by an experienced player.
Yeah, and well tackled. That's how to get the ball out of the centre though, with speed. There's no doubt that Motlop there was, with his speed, North Melbourne just couldn't go with him.
So he's in for just his fourth game of the year. Louis Young last played round 4 against the Pies. Missed the trip to Adelaide last week, back in the squad in the absence of Harry Mackay. Misses with concussion today. Kicked 2 goals against the Dogs. Let's see how he goes here in front of the sticks. Rewarded with the holding the ball and pops through the goal. And the Blues have got their end up. 5 goals to 2 in this opening term, and Carlton extend their game high advantage. A 19-point buffer for the Blues. 5-3-33, North Melbourne 2-2-14. 26 minutes in. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport with Mick Malthouse and Cameron Lynch.
Centre bounce clearances are problematic too, Mick. You mentioned how quick that one was.
Yeah.
4-1.
4-1, but it's 6-15 inside 52. Linear. You don't win many games, but 15 times in, Carlton have scored 8 times, so they're going better than 50%.
We've got 2 minutes to go in this quarter, 2 minutes 15, and only 6 inside 50s.
Yeah,
that is low.
Well, it's not getting the football.
No.
If I look at the numbers, it's 92 to 78. It's not a vast difference, but it's where you get the football and how you take the football inside.
Plus 5 in clearances, 4-1 in centre bounce clearances.
Yeah, and it's what we said about you can't miss opportunities like Larky did.
One of the 3 inclusions for Carlton today. They take it out of the middle again. Handball going forward inside attacking 50. Onto it quickly. There is Motlop, who's trying to break through for a tackle, or break through a tackle. Can't do so. Ball up 35 out from the attacking goal.
There we go again. The ball's now again back in Carlton's front 50. So
Scores from stoppages already. 3 goals, 1 for Carlton to 0 from North.
De Koning slaps it forward out after a quickly caught. It spills out. Williams, the beneficiary, sneaks through another for the Blues. And they're out by 25. 6-3-39 plays 2-2-14. They've kicked the last 4. Mick Malthouse, Cameron Ling, on Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
Make that 4 goals,
4 goals,
stoppages,
yeah.
Mick. And that was just a surge run, wasn't it? The hit forward and then just
no
numbers.
resistance.
No. And even
Structurally, that was just not sound, Lingy. You're tormented by that.
And this is something teams have been doing to them this year, hasn't it? They've leaked a lot of goals from stoppages, the Blues, and yet today they're kicking them.
well, that picture, we just saw the replay, the picture of the North Melbourne mids and small defenders who were left at that stoppage. That is not one you want to sit through on the Monday meeting. You know that one's coming, and you squirm and you realise, we just got outworked, outspread there completely.
Well, it's just beautiful ruck work.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Put it in a magnificent spot to Coney.
Blues by 25. Sherry wins the hit out, but straight down to chair of the Blues. Trickles a kick inside 50. Elijah Hollins hits up, tackled by Daniel. Ball comes out. O'Sullivan on the back flank for North under pressure. Got it out to Davies Uniacke. Spun around by Cripps. Got it out. Stevens, short kick for North, or not 15, said the umpire.
Wow.
Away to Simpkin, and he's hustled over the boundary line by Ollie Hollins.
So
I
know they're hotter on this than ever, Corbs. We saw it last weekend at Gather Round. But the inconsistency of it must be infuriating for the players.
It feels like you're judged harsher in the back half, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like in the forward half, you can chip it 5 metres and they pay the mark.
Yeah. They almost get gobbled up on the occasion, really.
Yeah.
Ball flung back in. Sherry takes it out of the ruck. Gives a big don't argue to Motlop. His handball goes to Cottrell, who pokes it to Cripps. Off to Chera. Blues in possession now. Kicks to Carroll. Forward of the logo. He wants to complete the switch. Out to Akers, who's in a heap of space. Can't pick it up. Now he can. Runs into Stevens. Handball away to Ollie Hollins. Attacking edge of the square for the Blues. Looks for Motlop. Kick doesn't find him. Davies Uniacke is there. Defensive mark for the Kangas. They're under the pump. Carlton, the last 4 goals of the game. They lead by 25 points. Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
Oh, that's a miss kick. Overcooked it, trying to get it to Daniel. Cottrell wins it for the Blues. 70 out. Hand pass to Williams. Kicks inside 50. Slides past Motlop and Davies Uniacke and out of bounds in the forward pocket for the Blues.
That was another gift to Carlton with that turnover. If Williams had hit, Charlie Curnow was diagonally back leading. You just pop it to his advantage. That's a mark 15 out from goal. Should have been a goal.
Yeah,
you got to kick the ball better inside forward 50 than that when it's a quick turnover.
6-goal opening term already for Carlton. De Koning keeps his feet, grabs it out of the ruck and goals. TDK bangs it through, and this is overwhelming. Carlton with 7 in the opening term. And Tom De Koning flooded by his teammates. And the Blues have now kicked 5 unanswered. 7-3-45, North Melbourne 2-2-14. Sherry slipping over at the throw-in. And we're half an hour in, closing in on quarter time. It's a 31-point buffer. Nick Malthouse, Cameron Lang on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it wasn't just a slip. It was a nudge, a bump by Tom De Koning.
Is it fair?
In the side. Mick, I'm going to call that in the side. I think that's
fair.
okay.
That's fair. That's just 2 big men.
It's classic ruck work.
One of the things you always say, Lingy, expect contact.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised that someone pushes you or crunches. Can I just add on to that? North Melbourne, every time they get the football, they look laterally for the short ball. They don't look for the longer ball, and that's what's trapping them. They're not being able to break through that first line of defence by Carlton.
First goal of the year for De Koning. Gets a long kick away here. Inside 50 again for the Blues. Zach Williams out after it into the pocket. Paddles to the boundary. Umpire says, spin it in.
Why? It should be. I mean, he's just tapped that out.
Oh, yeah.
If he did that in the back pocket again, that would be
It would have gone. Outside the front 50, that's gone. I just don't get that.
What are you seeing from Clarko to try and stem the bleeding here, Mick?
Well, ball use for a start off and just contested football.
Centre bounce contested work.
Yeah.
Sherry wins the tap down. Davies Uniacke out after it, now getting involved. Parker, handball to Fisher. Exiting kick from defensive 50. Tumbles it up to the wing. Blues are there. And that is a quarter in which the Blues have kicked the last 5 goals of the match. They've also kicked 7 of the last 8. And they lead by 31 points at the first break. The goal kickers, Durden with a couple singles to Curnow, Young, De Koning, his first goal of the year, Cripps and Williams. While for North Melbourne, their only goal kicker, Curtis, with a couple.
31 points the advantage, and run-ons have been an issue for this North Melbourne team. So 6 goal runs conceded over the last 4 years. Only West Coast have given up more runs of 6 goals. So West Coast have done it 47 times, North have done it 34 times, and even Carlton are top 8 on that list with 16. But that is a huge concern.
A huge concern, but you don't go to the back six about this. You go straight to your mids if you're Alistair Clarkson, and you say, this is on you. Because good luck. The North Melbourne defenders are being hung out to dry right now. This is all on the North Melbourne mids.
5-15 clearances. 5-15.
You want to sign big contracts, comes big responsibility. Start getting the job done in the middle of the ground.
Sounds like Spider-Man.
And the centre bounce clearance is 7-1 Carlton's way, so they're winning it out of the middle and the restart and around the ground at the clearances. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
Corbin, very uneasy feeling inside the Docklands. This is North Melbourne's biggest home and away game of the year. It is a thumping crowd, just under 50,000 people. And they get that dished up in the first 30 minutes. So there are some very angry North Melbourne supporters already as you watch Alistair Clarkson head out to the huddle. Just an update on Mitch McGovern for Carlton supporters. He's got his right bicep heavily strapped. It's interesting, Cooper Lord is out there doing a full warm-up. So I think they're getting him ready just in case McGovern's arm is not good to go back on in the second term.
Would it be a ruptured bicep or something, Timmy?
Even just how tightly it was strapped, like you could actually see that he was uncomfortable walking, let alone out there in the battle. So it will be interesting to see if he's okay to actually resume in this second term, but he is back out there at the moment.
First bloke with an arm injury that can't walk, but anyway.
Carlton by 31 points. More from Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling coming up shortly. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
Get your footy fix on the ABC Listen app.
Can you believe it? A new game high.
Wherever you are and whatever you're doing.
He drives it home.
AFL and NRL.
Bing, bing, bing.
Live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Simpkins handball to Larkey, who's out now. Haynes comes and closes him down. Got a handball away under pressure. Simpkin between wing and half forward collects, kicks inside 50. Curtis bobs up in front of Zurhar and takes the mark. 30 goals last year. He's got a dozen already. The left footer, Paul Curtis. That's a superb drop punt. He kicks the first of the day.
Kicked 4 goals in both games against North last year, Charlie Curnow. His drop punt from 45 is sliding through the middle. Curnow gives Carlton the instant response. Motlop, boot to ball from right on the 50. It won't have the distance. To the goal square it goes. Punched away, hits the ground. Lowe comes in. His handball stripped. Durden gets it on the boot and goals. Knocks it on cleverly. Sits up for Hewitt. Gets the handball away. Now Walsh cruising through 50. Handball onto Cripps. It'll sit up for him. Left foot snap. Will float through. He's brutal and brilliant. McConing slaps it forward out after a quickly caught. It spills out. Williams, the beneficiary. Sneaks through another for the Blues. And they're out by 25. They've kicked the last 4.
Mids and small defenders who are left at that stoppage, that is not one you want to sit through on the Monday meeting. You know that one's coming and you squirm and you realise, we just got outworked, outspread there completely.
Koning keeps his feet, grabs it out of the ruck and goals. TDK bangs it through. And this is overwhelming.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Sounds there from the opening term as the Blues ran away with it, a 31-point lead at quarter time. Off the SMS, anonymous, thanks Mick, from a farmer listening to the call whilst doing the feed run. So put your names on them if you can. From Jack, seeding canola, I think it's Cubelling in WA. Need to hand back my Sangro Picardi from getting those wrong. Hoping for some rain. Love the coverage as always, guys. Agree with Mr. Malthouse regarding rain. That's from Anne. So much needed in the Western District in Victoria. Send it down. Chris from Tabletop in New South Wales. Looking forward to the calls. Stacking hay in the shed. So nice to hear from so many of you across the country. Brendan from Hobart says, how's the chafe going, Ben, after your little mishap last week over in South Australia? Have you recovered all right?
Yeah, Mick walks at a cracking pace and it was warm over there in the Barossa.
Oh, Benny.
You've got legs like John Nichols. And only the old Carlton people realise that John Nichols had big tree trunks. And
I reckon John Nichols got a bit more definition than Benny in the legs.
Well, you are baggy.
Taller too.
Not much taller than you, Benny. He's a ruckman. He's not as tall as Paddy Cripps, who's a rover or midfielder.
Give us your take on that opening term. Carlton by 31.
Both have won 5 Best and fairest at Carlton too, Johnny Nichols and Patrick Cripps.
I thought you were throwing yourself in there.
No.
Well, Paddy Cripps was one of those who kicked a goal in that first quarter, Mick, and one of those who completely destroyed the North Melbourne midfield. 7-1 centre bounce clearances for an overall dominance of 15-5 across the ground, which led to 20-6 inside 50s. And sometimes stats don't lie. The ball just lived in Carlton's forward half of the ground, their forward 50. They have 10 shots at goal from their 20. North Melbourne have 4 shots at goal from 6 inside 50s, but you can't be getting the ball inside 6 times and thinking you're going to get close to winning a game.
No, and if you're going to change anything up, that midfield has got to, if the personnel in there won't do what you want and can't clear it, then you've got to go in with plan B.
Yep.
Plan B, maybe more speed, maybe drop the tag, maybe 12 o'clock, 9 o'clock and 6 o'clock, and just go back to the old basics. We hit the ball there, you've got to get it. If they hit the ball there, we've got someone. So, you can't keep copying that sort of clearance rate.
Can the Roos hang in this game? Carlton by 31. Start of the second term on ABC Sports. Sherry wins it down to Davies Uniacke. Off and running. Handball out in front of Parker. The former Swanee gives it to McKercher. 55 out. Centering kick. Akers knocks it away from Constanti. Leaping up is Larkey. Can't trap it. Constanti's going to get a second go.
He's smashed.
Tackle from Cripps. And Wiedering says just get it out of here as he pumps the kick up to the wing. No mark for Curnow. Ball slides through to Comben, who comes and collects. Young tackles him. Ball spits out. Says holding the ball. Free kick to Young on the wing. Carlton by 31. Early doors. Second quarter. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, they've got a clearance out of the centre, and that put the ball inside the front 50. They just mucked it up, but at least it went inside the front 50.
Young kicks a high ball up to half forward for the Blues. Comben sets himself a Motlop. Nearly hit his head on the roof. That was a massive leap. And then Comben gets it off the deck and he's wrapped up by Motlop.
I'm glad the umpire didn't pay a free kick there, because that was a realistic attempt. He nearly took that.
Well, there's a free kick every day of the week. I just don't understand how Terry didn't get that first free kick.
So he got it eventually, and then Wardlaw gives it off to Sheasel, who moves it up for the Roos to the half-forward flank. Curtis wheels and goes. Look for Darling. Coming across Wiedering. Can't take the mark. Floating through Constanti. Handball away. McGovern pinches it. Nowhere to go. They're under pressure. And they're out of bounds. Wiedering just backpedaling, carries it out.
I should have given Hodgie a chance to come in, but as we heard there, Hodgie, so McGovern's back.
McGovern is back out there at full-back. It looks fine. He's got the strapping on that right bicep. So he was on the bench. He had treatment. He was taken to the rooms, had more treatment, had the strapping put on, but he's back out there in the second term.
Thanks, Hodgie. My bad. Need to get down a little quicker. The boundary throw in to Coney. Down towards Akers. His hand pass picked off. Grabbed by Parker. Just bangs at goalwood. It's on line. Lands short. Silvani spoils. Larkey on the goal line upended. Pack forms in the goal square. Says ball up.
He's stiff, Larkey. He's stiff. He was almost through with that. He could have had 2 shots on goal by now, and that would have made him a very important player for North.
Up it goes. DeConing. First hands on it. Full forward for the Roos. Cripps saves the day. Handball towards the boundary line. Akers collects. Got support and Walsh. He can kick outside the defensive 50.
Looking for Young. Comben there with him, brings it to ground. And the Roos have the numbers. Powell away to Daniel, to Logue, retreating to the logo. And then McDonald sends it long to the hot spot. Up goes Sherry. Spoils it down from DeConing. Curtis Robes. He's wrapped up immediately. Ball up. 20 out from the attacking goal for the Kangas.
Carlton are clearing these ones too easily.
Yep.
North have got to hold that ball in there. There's another easy exit.
Sherry wins the tap down, but it spills out to Carroll. Clearing kick. Mark taken by Comben. So the Roos will come again. Half forward flank for them. They trail by 31.
Got to find a different avenue in.
Comben just sits it up on the head of the ruckman and Larkey, and DeConing
too obvious.
Flies.
And there's a free kick. Play the push.
Hang on. It's a push and it's a free kick. For either Sherry or Larkey. They've both got their hand up, and Larkey is going to get it, and that's a good result for the Roos.
Oh, yeah, the replay. Wiedering does give him a fair old shove in the back.
Yeah.
Well spotted by the umpire.
Oh, yes, that's silly play. Just put your arms on him, but not a... Yeah, well, a dead set free kick, no doubt about that.
That's like kids in the schoolyard. They just throw people out of the way.
So Larkey left an earlier opportunity out there, makes no mistake here. He's on the board. And it's one North Melbourne badly need. So Carlton's lead trimmed to 25, 4 minutes into the second term. Larky goals, North Melbourne 3-2-20, Carlton a 7-3-45. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. An earlier miss, Cameron Ling McMoldhouse hit the post. Started that run of 5 consecutive Carlton goals, but he ends it now.
Yeah, with a nice set shot. It came, go all the way back. They get the centre bounce clearance, Mick, and at least they're playing it in their half of the ground. You're right about the inside 50 defensive 50 clearances. Carlton were getting it a little easy from them, but North were reasonably well set outside the ball, so they got repeat inside 50s and in the end drew a free kick, a pretty obvious free kick once you saw the replay.
Well, it just seems different, Lingy. Right now, the contested football's going North Melbourne's way, and that's so important. It doesn't matter if you don't even get the 7 goals by half-time, just to compete and make sure Carlton can't get any easy ones.
Umpire bounces it for the restart. There's a free kick.
Oh, he's paid it for
Hewitt
in danger.
Yeah, Sherry came in with a flying leg trying to soccer it. After the ball hit the deck, free kick going to Hewitt. Carlton possession, runs around Sheasel. Driving ball inside 50 for the Blues. Logue with a big fist. Spoils it down, back beyond the defensive 50 for North. Out after it, Will White overruns it, close to the boundary line. There's Wardlaw, picks it up, he's kicked, Dicey. Cripps steals it, Blues in possession. Wardlaw goes in again, and he wins the footy. He is so hard at it, and he'll clear with the kick into the middle for the Kangas.
Chopped off though by Wiedering. Hand pass away to Sard. Kicks it over his head inside the forward 50. They all leap up. No mark. Spills down in front of McKercher. He keeps it in front of him. Akers steals it. Almost a drop kick to full forward. Curnow can't mark. Follows up. Tackled. Was it high? Yes. Curnow free. And Curnow's going to get it 15 out straight in front.
Mick, I don't know about that. I reckon he grabbed him around the back and his head.
He kind of shrugged and ducked
a
bit.
Yeah, too right he did.
It ended up high because of the shrug and duck.
But that's the reason why they say we're not doing that anymore.
Curnow hooks it across the body for his second. The immediate answer for the Blues. And all of a sudden, Carlton restore a 31-point lead. Half a dozen minutes into the second term. Carlton 8-3-51, North Melbourne 3-2-20. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
So you suppose if you, as the player with the ball in hand, contribute to the high contact by either ducking or lifting the arm and shrugging under, play on's supposed to be called.
There he is, he ducked.
Yeah, he's ducked that. So therefore, if play on's called, it's actually illegal disposal and dropping, holding the ball. It should have been a free kick.
Well, the tackle from the North Melbourne play, for those that aren't watching and those on their farm, whatever, that tackle
jarred the ball free.
Well, but it hit his forearm.
Yes.
No, not forearm.
Bicep,
bicep.
Yeah.
And then he ducked, and that made the arm go to the top. That is an incorrect decision. Very, very poor decision, actually.
Third multiple goal kicker of the game, along with Durden, Curtis, and now Curnow is coughing it up. Is Davies Uniacke in the middle. Chera pinches it for the Blues. Swivels, kicks to Curnow again. And he'll have a look at a third. 40 metres out, as good as directly in front.
How many is he going to kick today if it keeps going like this?
Yeah,
well that's the trouble.
They're looking at 6 or 7.
With the inside 50 count, they got 20 in the first quarter. If they get it in there 80 times, he'll kick 10. But that kick from Chera is why he's got to be that extra element in the Carlton midfield. He uses the ball well. He's just got to do it more often.
Trying to become the first player today to 3 goals. Curnow sprays it out to the right. Leaves it out there. Carlton lead by a game high 32 points. 7 minutes into this second term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, North Melbourne opened up very well this quarter. I don't say it's that bad at the moment, but it's the next 5 minutes will determine whether they can stay in the game.
Curnow kicked 2 goals 4 last week. He's got 2 goals 3 already today, early in the second, as the Blues chop off the kick out and Wiedering puts it back inside 50 and McDonald takes an intercept mark again for North.
This is where they're going to have to bring that ball back.
Short to Powell, handball away to Daniel, low trajectory kick to Stevens, better ball movement to O'Sullivan, back to Stevens on the wing, sweeps a hand pass forward to Zerha, between wing and half forward, kicks inside 50, Logue thrown forward, knocked away from him and out of bounds. In fact, it's Darling, my apologies. And a boundary throw in, and Silvani spoils, as he's done so well so far this year, as he's in the blood. 9 minutes into the second term, it is Carlton by 32.
When the kicker's got that much time, I'd love a little lead back up.
Lead up, where was Larky at this stage? He was cutting across.
Deep forward 50 stoppage here for the Rouge. Sherry brings it down, goes again at ground level, and a second time. Picks it up. Nowhere to go. Ball up coming. Jack Silvani yet to be outmarked in a one-on-one in 2025.
One-on-one. That's impressive. That's right. That's the very basis of a backline player is you've got to win your own football and not be able to be beaten one-on-one.
Forward pocket for the Rouge. The coning down. Zerhag gets it. Handball away. Out towards Stevens. Now Sheasel. Threw it out. Davies Uniacke trying to twist through them. Coughs it up and the Blues will clear. Sard just dumps it on the left boot.
Bouncing away. Kerno's got a few to beat. Left the footy behind. Clever though. Sockers it to the advantage of Elijah Hollands. Handball to Krebs.
Great tackle. What a tackle.
McDonald. Big chase down tackle. And he says, let's go to the crowd as he tries to pump them up in the process as well.
Oh, that's a brilliant tackle.
He's feeling it, as you would be after locking up the two-time Brownlow medalist. G goes short with the kick, put Logue under immediate pressure. He's caught. Oh, the umpire took a while and eventually says, I'll have it, as Will White lays the tackle.
Players have got to work out 15 metres. You can't just dab the kick anymore. The umpires are going to be right on it, and generally speaking, in midfield like this, you're going to have company. You've just got to be smarter than that.
Sherry grabs it out of the ruck for North. Handball away to Sheasel. High up and under to centre half forward. Larkey down there, but they crash the pack from all directions. Ball hits the deck. Zerha keeps it in front of him. Centre half forward now goes to ground. Pack forms around Sard. Umpire circles, says holding the ball.
Good decision.
Sard tucked it in.
Good decision. Yep. This is a different North Melbourne we're seeing at the moment.
You're going to pay that against Caleb Daniel in the first quarter. You've got to pay that again.
Absolutely. But the thing is, I just think North Melbourne's contested football seems different this time. I don't know what the numbers are. I don't want to look at the numbers because I think stats cheat. But this is a different. They looked energised this quarter. I don't say they're going to be better, but it looks better for their supporters.
They're certainly doing something they haven't done in the first quarter, which has played the game in their front half at least. We've seen a lot more footy. North's attacking end as Curtis is shooting on goal there at the moment, and he puts to his third. What a start for Paul Curtis. He played less than a quarter and a half, and he's got 3 already. And Curtis has 3 of North Melbourne's 4, so 4-2-26, Carlton at 8-4-52. North Melbourne lifting, Carlton still by 26. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, that's 15 goals, Corby.
Yeah.
From a side that's only won one game, that's a very, very good outcome. And when you throw Larkey in there, that's so they've kicked 31 between them. I know you can't wrap it up into only 2 players, but they do. They are giving everything, those two. They're very, very good. They work compatibly. They don't get in each other's way. I know the different sizes, but they are working very, very well.
Strong man Paul Curtis has become legend, the fact that he can bench press 140 kilos.
Can he really? There you go. So one-on-one, that's what makes him dangerous.
Bounce in the middle. Sherry wins the tap, but straight to Walsh. Whistle on the play. Free kick Blues.
No, it's going to
No, going to North.
Well, it should have been to North. I think
Blues looked like they were going to take advantage. Hewitt was about to be off. The umpire said come back. It's going to Wardlaw. Middle of Docklands. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Wardlaw with a high kick inside 50. Pack forms, no one marks. Haynes gets it off hands and then a clearing kick. Squeezes it up to the wing. Kerno gathers for the Blues. Loops a handball out in front of Hewitt. Takes it on the bounce. Looks long inside 50. Man down there, Durden. On his chest. 30 out directly in front.
Beautiful kick. Well done by Durden, though. Held his ground. North Melbourne player was just really, the ground was just getting cut up underneath him trying to get back. And you take your eye off the ball, put it back on the opponent, you lose the ball, and that's exactly what happened. It's only a split second. Very, very good kick.
In great goal-kicking form, as Corbin mentioned, 4 last week against the West Coast Eagles. In game number 50, eyeing a third, he misses. Tugs it left. 27 points, Carlton's lead. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
A bit of a let-off there. Goes to show, highlight, I'm about to jump in. When you've got a key forward like Kerner who can be so clean at ground level, just pick up, handball, and the whole game opens up.
Yeah.
Daniel off and running on the kick out, drives it up to the wing. Larkey flies, no mark, spills down to Walsh of the Blues, handball to Carroll. Handball out to Akers, has to go off his left. Ugly looking kick inside 50, and Fisher could have marked it, punches it over the fence. And a boundary throw in, 40 out from the Blues goal.
I don't blame him doing that, because he knew that Motlop was coming at him. If Motlop then jumps over and takes a mark, everyone goes, why didn't you spoil it? So, yep, safety first. I know probably a lot of players would have marked it, but to hold his ground, it was quite good.
First 107 games of his career in Navy Blue, Zach Fisher. That's his old team for the third time today. Darling doing the ruck work in the defensive 50. Won it down to Hewitt, to Akers by hand. Handball to Chera off the left. And that's another miss kick out on the full. North will win it back here in their defensive 50. So halfway through this second quarter, Carlton by 27. Did lead by as many as 32 points earlier in the quarter.
So there's no one on his mark. I don't know why he doesn't run, take the full 10 to 15 metres, and then, he's done it.
Heard you, Mick. As Simpkin kicks up to the wing. Zerha can't mark, down in front. Darling, tumble punt towards half forward. Stevens tracking it there to mop up for the Blues. McGovern, centre half back, kicks up the pipe. His kick is good. Fogarty accepts it. Now looks out to the flank. Spots up Akers. He will go long in the Curnow direction, in the pocket. Curnow there. Can't take the mark. Logue gathers for the Roos. Handball away to McDonald. Clearing kick. Sets it up to the wing. Arriving late, Zerha juggles the mark, but able to claim it. Half-back flank for the Kangas.
Looks corridor, dangerous kick. McGovern awake to it. Comes through to break it up. Takes the intercept mark.
I don't know what he was waiting for. Everyone could see that happening. Why didn't he go quicker?
McGovern long to Curnow at full forward. G2 Roos collide in the air. It's Logue and also Zerha down. Fisher wins the footy, last line of defence. Handball away towards O'Sullivan. Gives it to Davies-Uniacke. Kicks out of the defensive 50. And Daniel Marks, City wing, goes short to Wardlaw.
Impressive, Wardlaw. First game back, really impressive. Putting himself in position. No, you've got to take it easy with him. I heard.
Big, sorry to jump in. Look how many North Melbourne players just behind the ball walking, 4 or 5. That's why he had no one to go to. No one's prepared to run hard forward and be an option.
Long contest kick, no mark for Zerha. Spills down to Walsh. Handball out to Silvani for the Blues. He gives it to Carroll. Left footer, gets on his preferred side. Kicks down the wing. White caught at the back. Ball hits the deck. Chera wins it. And now White's out the front. Hand pass in his direction and knocked out a play by McDonald. Will have a throw in. Insufficient intent. Knocked out by White, so McDonald will get the free. And he'll take it at half-back for the Roos. 27-point lead for the Blues, 16 gone second term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Oh, Comben hangs his kick. Akers comes across, pinches it.
That's 50.
Knocked out of his hands by Tucker. Umpire says, Darcy, come with me.
Oh, my goodness. Benny, that is just a comedy of errors. Well, not a comedy, because no North Melbourne fan finds that funny. That's just awful footy. From the kick from Comben and Tucker. That's just terrible.
Blake Akers might see the funny side of it. He pokes it through. And the Navy train has a head of steam up. Carlton lead by 33 points. 9-5-59 plays 4-2-26. 17 gone in the second.
One of the things, Lingy, that you try to do as a football coach is analyse other sports. When you're transferring the ball, let's look at soccer. I love EPL soccer. You look at from one wing, you see someone clear on the other wing. Oh, I'm going to kick the ball to him. It'll be intercepted. So you look for the midway point. You get the ball quicker to him. He then gets it to on that wing. That kick there should have been a double kick. It should have been the first one. Should have been 30 metres. We had someone clear. It gets marked. Then you're set. Then the opposition don't know which way to go. Then
simple maths. If that ball hangs in the air for 3 seconds,
they're going to get
the opposition player can cover 20, 25 metres.
Yep.
And it's as obvious as obvious.
Yep, certainly is.
New game high, 33 points the Blues way. De Koning down to Hewitt, back to De Koning. Handball to Chera, gives it to Cottrell. Kicks inside 50. Durden trying to get to the drop. No free against McDonald. Ball spits out. Logue's gang tackled. The ump says, I'll have it. 30 metres out from the Blues attacking goal.
You asked before, Benny, about good offence helping your defence. When you kick it like that and turn it over, you're going to get scored against.
Takoning down to Williams, kicks to full forward. Young's down there. Back to his defender days. Spoils away towards O'Sullivan of the Roos. Handball meant for Logue. Bangs bodies with Fogarty, ball comes out. Fogarty, hand pass to Cottrell, kick smothered by Tucker, out of play.
I was mainly worried, Lingy, when you said about how none of the North players were running hard forward to make an option. That's the fun part, when you get to run and get the ball,
But
let alone chasing defensively.
That's one of the big signs of a team that is unsure. Has lost the confidence to actually go forward. You've got to be bold and run forward and be prepared to maybe have to run back hard the other way because there's a mistake, but you have to get on your bike. Your team needs you to get going and run and be an option. Otherwise, it's just going to live in the opposition's half.
The Roos get it out of the back 50. Carlton win it back. Ollie Hollands, the 1-2 with Cottrell, and then Hollands' second hand pass is knocked out of play. So boundary throw-in on the wing, City side. 19 gone in the second term. Carlton by 33, 9-5 to 4-2. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Corbin Middlemass and Ben Cameron calling the action. And the coaching icon, Mick Moldhouse, and the three-time premiership cat, Cameron Ling.
2 goals apiece in their second term. McKercher wins it on the wing. He'll get it back as well. Handball away to Parker. Handball to Wardlaw. Goes for a little run. Wants to switch it out towards the dockside wing. He's good for Stevens. Stevens bites it off back into the corridor. McKercher again. Forward handball to Tucker. Short kick inside 50. Just gets to Simpkin. 47 metres out. Slight angle to the right.
Well, this is his range. He could probably just get it over the goal umpire's head, but
He's had a quiet game too, Mick.
He has
being one of the leaders of the team. I think this is disposal number 7 coming up for him for the game in part of a midfield that's been pretty badly beaten.
Yeah. You always have to tag someone if you're not getting the football, particularly as a captain. You've got to go, right, I'll sacrifice myself here and see if I can go on their ball getter.
Disposal number 7 coming up. When you're a young side, you need your leaders. And Josh Simpkin can't quite deliver. Hangs it out to the right. Carlton by 32. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Saad brings it in to Haynes. Takes the sprawling mark at half-back. Adam Saad, game number 92 today for the Blues. Celebrated his 200th collectively last week. Well, Haynes gave it to Silvani. Kick wasn't 15. Told to move. Got it onto Hewitt, but under pressure. Back to Silvani. Away to Akers. Kicks down to half forward. Cripps has got a few to beat. Logues up in front. No mark. Spills down to Fisher. North win it back. Hand pass to Parker. Handball to Sherry. Got his arms free. Got it out to Daniel. Kicks across the centre square. Roos away with it. Tucker. Hand pass away to Powell. Sweeping Polly Farmer. Hand pass to half forward. Now with Zerha. Kicks to full forward. Larkey down there. Shepard's the kick. It's a goal. Something out of nothing for the Roos. Some good ball movement, and on the end of it, the drop punt from Zerha, bang on target. Carlton's lead trimmed to 26 again. 22 gone second term. Seesaw in quarter. Carlton 9-5. North Melbourne 5-3. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well done, Tristan Cherry. It was a hospital handball he received in the middle of the ground. He had to stand up strong and get his arms free, and as soon as he did, that's the ball movement North Melbourne needed. So he stayed strong, got the handball. Caleb Daniel got it to the open side, and then they kept the flow of the play going to a real attacking play. And it was either going to be a mark for Nick Larkey, who'd probably got Wiedering under the ball nicely, or a beautiful goal by Zerha. But well done by Cherry back in the middle.
Lingy, the first quarter, Carlton comprehensive winners stat-wise. North are in front, and that's they mightn't have as many inside the front 50, but they're certainly far more competitive.
Cripps takes the advantage out of the middle for the Blues, kicks it inside attacking 50, bouncing ball, ricochets out. Walsh able to pick it up, swings a kick back inside 50. Tucker goes up, doesn't mark, spills to McDonald. Roos in possession. Parker releasing handball to Stevens. Handball, hospital handball. They play volleyball, pushing it on along the wing. And then arriving quickly, Carroll for the Blues. He's dispossessed, not once but twice. Gathers it a third time, off to Saad. Now the Blues through Will White on his left leg. Kicks inside 50 towards full forward Williams. Follows up at ground level, runs onto his right, snaps on goal and misses. Maybe marked in play there by Comben. It was on the behind line, so he's got it in the back pocket. They'll check it.
Check it, which slows the play up. Comben wanted to go.
Yeah.
Got to go quicker.
Yes.
Before the umpire can stop you, just get moving.
I don't know how they actually analyse that. You know, the goal umpire, you can be sitting back there thinking, I know it's a point, and yet the ball's down the other end. So I don't know how they actually talk to each other.
So having a look at the score review, we've got the behind the goals angle, which isn't ideal at this point in time.
That's a mark.
It's a mark.
Yeah.
Happy with the mark?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so no score. 26 points, Carlton's lead. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. A massive round 6 coming up.
Double-header today as well, so West Coast and Essendon a nightcap tonight. So the Eagles 0-5 and, of course, the Bombers 2-2.
Jacket game. I've got a story about that too, Corp.
Okay. Look forward to that.
It's going to have to be a good one now. You've built it up.
I've got bad memories of that game as a kid. I must admit, going to Subiaco Oval, outnumbered in my red and black Mick against your pesky Eagles all those times. There's a long kick down the line and knocked out of bounds and a boundary throw in on the wing. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
No, just with you guys waiting for Ben's boring story, no doubt.
Go on, give it to us, Ben.
Go on, Happy. No, I'll save it up. I'll save it up for half time.
Oh, too big a build-up. 25 gone, second term, 26-point lead for the Blues. Boundary throw in, Hewitt tackled by Wardlaw. Oh, there's a free kick over the shoulder against Wardlaw, so Hewitt takes it. Carlton on halfway. And the navy blue jumpers. Sard goes short. Only a mini woof. Just got that from Ange Christou and Val Perovic back in the day. Actually kind of appropriate. Adam Sard was the neighbour of Ange Christou growing up. Lived next door to him.
I went to school with Pero.
There you go.
Yeah, we would play the same club eventually, North Road.
And now he's inherited the woof all these years later. Still lives on with the Carlton faithful for the long raking left footer. Switch on here for the Blues, up 26, time on second term. McGovern on the outer wing, city side, short kick to Ollie Hollins. Marks, bangs bodies with Curtis. Plays on, handball to Carroll, handball to McGovern. 52 metres out, kicks to full forward, Condon. Back takes the intercept mark at fullback for North Melbourne.
Carlton not bringing the ball in there. That's either should be a shot on goal or find a target. Just blazed away, a nothing kick.
Combin moves it on short, gets it to McDonald, who goes to Core. Carlton by 26 points. Core goes back to McDonald. Last line of defence here for the Roos. A little bit of ball control. 25 minutes into the second term. McDonald now looks longer up to the wing, looking for Wardlaw. Sard.
Oh, paid the push.
Push.
Yeah, well done. Good umpiring.
Roos with it. Wardlaw. Short to Parker, not the 15. Gives it to Sheasel. They work it down the dockside wing. Here's McKercher with some running room. Kicks towards Curtis. He's in space. Can't take the mark out the back. McGovern. Curtis tackles him. And Carlton in possession. Carroll, short kick. Not 15.
Elijah Hollins back in the team today. Kicks out on the outside of the boot to Cottrell. Got to collect in the back pocket. He's good enough to do that. Long kick down the line. On the bounce in front of DeConing and Sherry. Good tackle. Sherry takes DeConing out of bounds with the Sharon. Boundary throwing between wing and half forward for the Roos.
Sherry's another one. When he falls on them.
Yeah.
He doesn't fall next to them. He doesn't.
Professionally clumsy.
Oh,
Straight
just a
out
little
of
bit
the,
Shane Mumford type stuff. It's
Toby Nam.
just accidentally, and your knee and elbow just happened to fall in the right spot.
From the restart, the Roos little kick forward. Not clean though. Going in to collect it is Sheasel. He is clean. Handball away towards Daniel. G. Wardlaw tried to sell the dummy. Put his teammate in McKercher under pressure. Elijah Hollins collects for Carlton. Still at half back. Handball to Williams. Handball to Hewitt. Long kick over halfway. Combin caught in a tangle. Ball slides through to Core. So the Kangas win it back. Hand pass to LDU. Luke Davies Uniac chips it over halfway and finds Powell, who takes the mark there for North.
Winning a lot more of the one-on-one contests, North Melbourne. They're not making the most of when they go inside the front 50. They're really scrappy there, but at least they're winning the football.
It's Tucker, in fact, who kicks inside 50 and hits Darling.
Push of all time.
The pack got shoved underneath the footy and Darling took it uncontested. There was a reason for that, and Haynes is getting a free kick for a shove.
Dopey free kick. That was so obvious. North Melbourne had the run of the play. It's just really wonder why a play would do that.
Hayne with the long ball. Looking for Kerno, right there with him. Core spoils it down. Hewitt roves the pack. Blues in possession on the wing. Handball away to Williams. He'll kick towards the opposite wing, and it's a good kick for Fogarty. In plenty of space on the logo. Pokes it short. Akers presenting a lead right there with him, Logue. And Logue spoils it away. Follows up at ground level. Outpoints his ex-Dockers teammate. Goes back to McKercher for the Kangas. Kicks towards the logo. Here's Sheasel. Oh, he threw it out. Just a handball according to the umpire. Now Wardlaw and off to Fisher. Roos at halfback.
Fisher gives it away to Sherry. Ruckman in the headgear goes long out towards half forward. Darling and Haynes the target. The ball slides out the back. Darling's onto it. Pokes a kick inside 50 and Parker, his fellow new arrival, takes the mark at left half forward and Parker will shoot from 45 out.
Outside of 15 minutes, or let's say 12 minutes in that first quarter, North Melbourne have held their own. It's just the finishing power.
Yeah, it's the finishing.
And that kick there by a ruckman was fantastic to find a target. Now, this is where we've put some pressure on Parker here, but he's an experienced player. He has to finish this off. This will make it a 4-2 quarter.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive to get back this far.
In game number 299, Luke Parker, right-footed drop punt. That's good. And North Melbourne edge the quarter, and they hang in this game. Right back in it, Carlton's lead trimmed to 20 at the 30-minute mark of the second quarter. Carlton a 9-5-59, North Melbourne on the move. 6-3-39, Mick Moldhouse, Cameron Ling on ABC Sport.
Well, I just wonder, Wardlaw again.
Yeah.
Geez, impressive young kid.
Very good. Hodgie, you're seeing this probably better than I am. Zach Fisher, he's heading down to the North Melbourne rooms, just feeling at the hammy a little bit. I assume, is that just going to be a little bit of extra treatment ahead of half-time?
To be honest, Lingy, it's a bit more sinister than that. The way he came off the ground, I think he knows he's done something, and he put the towel straight over his head, and I'm not sure why the medicos didn't take him straight underneath the rooms. They made him hobble right the way around the boundary to the room, so that's a serious watch for the Kangaroos with Zach Fisher against his old team. It looks like a hamstring damage.
He was going okay too.
Yeah.
He's brave. He was used to the football, was quite good.
Second game back, only got in last week.
Yeah.
Zane Dersma might be into the action. Sherry tapping it down, following up, and then a big tackle from De Koning. Umpire puts it towards the roof. Neither ruck decisive. Hewitt again getting involved. Wardlaw there with Cripps. Cripps tackles Wardlaw, nowhere to go. Umpire wants it.
He only knows one way, doesn't he?
He's a bulldog. He reminds me of Matt Rowell.
Yes.
Yep.
He's a dark-haired Matt Rowell, who's, we know what his red hair's like, and he'll get better.
Tapped down there by Sherry, and then onto it.
You mean wonderful?
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying about redheads.
That was ham-fisted, that attempt to describe the hair colour there, Mick.
No. I know what Lingy, he drove me nuts. Lingy was a player.
Sherry and De Koning both with hands on it. Spills out to Williams. Half forward here for the Blues. Elijah Hollins eventually gets it out to Akers. Shanks his kick into the pocket. Bouncing ball onto it quickly. Young pulls it back centrally. Fogarty very nearly in the pocket. Gives it back to Elijah Hollins. Handball to Motlop. He zigs when they all zag. Handball back centrally even further. Tom De Koning snap. He's overcooked. It'll hook away, and he touched over the line in the opposite pocket. So we'll get a throw in here for the Blues.
Do you know what? It's been a good day for junior coaches that I'm sure will be in the house tonight telling their kids and young fellas that have come along to the game and little girls that you've got to practice on your non-preferred side.
Yes.
The Blues today.
We've seen some shockers, haven't we?
Good call.
Especially when you look at, say, Sam Darcy.
Yeah, both sides. Yep.
Some of the miss kicks on the non-preferred today, and particularly it feels like all in that same patch of the ground down there at left half forward for the Blues. So the boundary throwing, we're going nowhere fast, and that'll do us to half-time. So the story of the day, if you've just flicked on, had 2 goals each to start. It was competitive halfway through the opening quarter, and then Carlton put their foot to the floor. They kicked 5 unanswered goals in the second half of that opening term. They led by 31 points at quarter time. They got it out to as many as 33 in that second quarter. But North Melbourne won the term. They kicked 4 goals to 2, and they've trimmed what was a 33-point deficit to 20 at half time. So Carlton in front, Blues by 20, 9-5-59, North Melbourne 6-3-39. But still in the game, and North Melbourne working their way back. A suspected hamstring for Zach Fisher. He's gone down to the rooms. More on that to come. The 2 unused subs, Zane Dersma and Cooper Lord for North Melbourne and Carlton, respectively. The Good Friday Super Clash, Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Now the goal kickers ahead of Mick and Lingy for Carlton. We got 2 for Durden and 2 for Curnow. And then singles for Williams, Cripps, De Koning, Akers and Young. Meanwhile, for North Melbourne, 3 for Paul Curtis, and then singles for Larkey, Parker and Zerha. The Blues in a slow trot as they make their way towards their race at the southern end of the stadium, or the Coventry end as it was back in the day. And North Melbourne, as they always do, they use the rooms for their home games at the northern end appropriately, closer to Arden Street. as they disappear down the race at the Lockett end of the ground. Your thoughts on the SMS? Rob in Greensborough. I'm sometimes critical of Jesse Motlop, but boy, his teammates are making it hard for him today, selling him into trouble like someone announced a tariff on him. It's a hot button issue at the moment in global politics. Thanks, Rob. Riley says North is the dumbest and scared team I've seen. Too many players that can't kick or put their body on the line. Jeez, hot.
Bang.
Hot, Riley. Chris says, just get the feeling that LDU might be getting paid overs going by today. Kangas making too many basic mistakes and it's hurting them. Hopefully they settle down and get their game back on track. And yes, we need rain. On your point, Mick, from earlier today. Ron from Adelaide, enjoying the call. Carlton need bigger scalps than the Eagles and the Kangaroos before I'm convinced. Go the Blues. We haven't got the Kangas yet. This game's still live, up by 20 at half-time. And from Marcus off the SMS, are fullbacks kicking in, resisting the option of running out and kicking to the centre or the wing because of conservative coaching. I think we've still seen the fullback run out a bit, haven't we?
Yeah, run out a bit and maybe just think of that, that really long kick.
Yeah.
I think provided you set up for it and you know it's going there, it's a weapon you can use. I suppose, Mick, coaches would say if you can get a mark 35, 40 metres out from your goal, from the kick in, I mean, that then the next kick is a much easier one to put
to the wing
or a little bit further, and you can get that deeper kick rather than trying to smash it from deep inside your defensive.
I know it's easy from here. We're seeing it from left to right. Behind the goals footage, sometimes you see it, you're sitting at home, you're watching it, and you think, I'm looking at players in the middle of the ground. All they need to do is to break and one to cut across, and you can get someone to run because they've given them so much room to run, and you get that scarlet kick, I call it Macintosh kick or whatever, that can find, once you run 15 metres outside, you can put the back into the square. That square is generally open because the umpire sets up there. And I'm amazed that that's not used more often. I'm not saying, because if you go there all the time, people are going to cut you off. But I understand you're 35 metre, then you kick 50, you've got 85 metres, and it's 2 kicks to get back. I'm amazed, though, how we've changed the rules enough for players to play on and allow them. Then they stop, prop, and they get a stat for it, Lingy. Background players these days getting easy stats.
0437 774 774 is the SMS number, by the way. So more of your thoughts throughout the day. And I need to mention it because people are going mad on the SMS. Did you go to school with Morris O'Keefe as well?
Yes, I did.
There you go. So a lot of people are saying, what about Morris O'Keefe? He went to school with Val and Mick and everything else. I've probably had 4 messages about it, so I just I'll get that. That's a pretty good schoolyard.
Let me say, it was St Paul's Tech. Our outside area. It was an old storehouse in Lidditch Street. It was 4 stories, 3 stories up and a basement. And out the back we had something like about, I'd say, 30 metres by 30 metres, and that was our playground. That got smashed to death with the football and basketball and anything else. Big cement wall, played handball. But when we put our side together, old brother Herrick, he put us together and we played the St Pat's, who hadn't been beaten in 100 years. But guess what?
You got them.
Yeah, but they didn't record it because we weren't in the competition. So, but you got Perovic and O'Keefe, as you say.
Old house.
And a couple of others that went down to St Kilda didn't quite make it, but fairly handy players.
Yeah. Can I just raise him with, all within about 3 or 4 year levels of each other was Scarlett, Bartel, Maxwell and my good self.
Wasn't there a few more too? Did you have
think we could take him on?
North Melbourne. North Melbourne. Oh no, this is a small school. This is a little school in Ballarat. It wasn't St Joey's.
It's a little fantasy game we can set up perhaps one for the PlayStation. Carlton by 20 points at halftime. Your thoughts on proceedings? Cameron Ling and Mick Moldhouse. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Mick, you spoke a lot about it through that second quarter. The fact that North Melbourne, after certainly a very poor second half of the first quarter.
Yep.
Brought an intensity and a competitiveness and a desire. They evened up the clearances pretty well. They semi-evened up the contested possessions. Their pressure was better. They had a crack.
Yeah.
And to put it in really simple terms, they had a crack in the second quarter. Now, they end up kicking more goals than Carlton. At times, though, their execution and their finesse and their skill wasn't quite there. But at least the endeavour was there.
Yeah, and Carlton missed a couple of sitters, as we know, and their entrance in their forward line via left foot, as Corbin said, was less than desirable. However, North Melbourne people, if it's 50-50 here, they've come to see a team have a crack at it, have a go. It's Good Friday. You've got to have a go. It's a shame that young Fisher's out, because I thought he gave him a bit of run and his kicking was quite good. Well, we'll see what Dersma can give if he's playing. I thought a few of the Carlton players went missing from the first quarter. Paddy Cripps, really, I don't know what he had that quarter. He just didn't seem to feature as much that quarter.
He had one kick, 2 handballs.
Yeah, so I've got that right.
Mick, isn't it funny that the players that our fans of our game and the club fans warm to straight away, what you're talking about with the North Melbourne fans being here and just wanting to see them have a crack and be competitive, the love they feel for Wardlaw.
Oh, wouldn't they? Just love him.
He's throwing his body in there. He's having he's winning the ball as well. And some of his kicks he doesn't quite have the composure yet because he's in his 30th game and he's coming back from some injuries. But you can just feel the love in this place for George Wardlaw for the reason you're talking about.
Yeah, people just love the sides that have a go, and they bemoan when you don't have a go. And Good Friday is about having a go. And there's been a couple of times when players have been a little bit iffy at the contest. I almost put down a couple of them down to the fact that if you do dive on a football, you're going to give away a free kick because one is if you drag it in, two is if you take someone's leg. So, but I've seen some bravery today too. There's been a couple of marks going the odd way and coming into a head-on contest. Players have really put themselves in a position of danger, and they've been able to handle it. So, if you wanted a battle outside of probably 12 minutes, and I don't think Carlton played good football that quarter, we're getting a battle. And we've got a battle that says 20 points. North Melbourne, if they can eat into... Now, this is the big if.
Yep.
I don't know what capacity that North have really folded in the second half through the year. Not just because we're talking about heat from last week and Carlton in the same heat, but they've folded. So they've got to go against the trend. And I just think that the North Melbourne supporters here, if that trend is wiped by just having a crack and they still go down, Wardlaw's going to be the bonus.
Yep.
Having not folding will be a bonus.
So they're 3-7 in second half quarters, North. Interestingly, though, playing Carlton, so 3 wins, 7 losses in second half quarters. Carlton have lost 4 games this year leading at half-time. Remember, it was only last week that they actually converted one against the Eagles. So they've now led at half-time in all 6 games.
Carlton?
Yep.
Wow.
6 games. Lost their first 4, and then obviously won last week.
Wow, that's a real... You'd be bringing that up. I don't bring too many... Well, I didn't bring too many things up that were press-orientated, but when you've got that, you go, look, boys, if we're going to maintain this pressure on them, because if they feel for one moment they're threatened and all of a sudden they go into a shell, because we've seen Carlton go into a shell.
Yeah.
Don't forget a few years ago, was it 2 years ago when they were on the cusp of making the 8 and Collingwood beat them by a point, I think it was.
Yep.
And that was the last kick point. They missed out on the finals by the last kick of the last second of the last game. So there's a bit of a history there.
Plus last year they could have as well, because Jack Sinclair kicked that goal. It was only because Jack Higgins, sorry. Yeah. It was only because the result went their way over in Perth that they made it last year.
We've got to get the news to the news in just a moment. Tim Hodges, though, on the boundary. Hodgie, is there news from down there?
There is, Corbin. I've never seen this happen during a half-time break before, but North Melbourne has just made their sub. The interchange steward came out from the rooms up to the interchange stewards to hand over the piece of paper. So it's not good news for North Melbourne and for Zach Fisher. It is a hamstring that he did very late in the piece. You might remember it was Harry Sheasel threw it out and it made Fisher lunge a little more than he would have wanted. So unfortunately for him, the hamstring has pinged. As soon as he came off, I think he knew it was gone. So he's out of the game, and Zane Dersma will start in the third term. So a blow for North Melbourne on a really hot and sticky day, a man down.
Thanks, Hodgie. Appreciate all that from downstairs. Still to come, of course, big game tonight, West Coast and Essendon. Ben's boring story on the way. Carlton by 20 points at half-time. But for now, let's get the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
Sarah Hall with ABC News. The husband of a Sydney woman kidnapped and feared murdered overnight is returning from an interstate business trip to be with his 2 young sons and help police with the investigation. Police say a 45-year-old woman was bashed in front of her 2 boys, aged 8 and 15, when a group of armed, masked men forced their way into the family home at Bankstown in southwest Sydney late last night. An hour later, a body was discovered in the back of a burnt-out car at nearby Beverly Hills, and police strongly suspect the remains are those of the kidnapped woman. Superintendent Rod Hart says what's happened is shocking.
This crime is horrendous. The level of violence is unheard of, but I want to reassure the community that we strongly believe that this is a targeted incident and that this has not been a random kidnapping.
Police have confirmed 2 people swept out to sea near a Victorian tourist town this morning were a married couple with a child. The couple were among 3 Chinese nationals on working visas who were carried out to sea by a powerful wave on a beach near San Remo this morning. While one woman was rescued, another was pulled unresponsive from the water and her husband is yet to be found. Superintendent Paul Cripps says an extensive search is continuing.
We'll go today till we either find him alive or find him deceased, and then we'll make an assessment, and if we haven't found him by the end of the day, we expect that we'll search again tomorrow.
A man has been injured in a gyrocopter crash on Queensland's Fraser Coast. More from Grace Whiteside.
Emergency services were called to Gari, formerly known as Fraser Island, about 12:30 to reports a gyrocopter had crashed and exploded near Moon Point. Queensland Ambulance Service says the sole occupant of the aircraft, a man in his 50s, was able to extract himself from the wreckage. He sustained arm and minor head injuries, but is in a stable condition. He's been flown to hospital on the mainland.
It's been a quieter day on the federal election trail, with both campaigns calling a truce for Good Friday. Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles has been in Melbourne today, attending a charity event for the Royal Children's Hospital. Mr Marles says it's respectful to take a break over Easter, given the holiday's significance to many Australians.
From a campaign perspective, it also gives us a moment to catch our breath and to have a break. It's obviously a really busy time during a campaign, so in some ways it works for everyone, but it's really fundamentally about paying respect to Good Friday.
A fishing tour operator in WA's Kimberley region says his staff are prepared for a tropical low, which is set to cross the coast this afternoon. Tropical cyclone Errol, which reached Category 4 intensity yesterday, has weakened to a Category 1 as it tracks closer towards the Kimberley coast. The system is set to make landfall as a tropical low near Koory Bay. Peter Tucker says his staff are well prepared.
I'm not too concerned. Obviously, it's not a cyclone or won't be a cyclone. But yeah, look, they're definitely going to get some heavy rain and some wind, but they're all very experienced boys up there, and my boys are very well drilled in the preparation.
Russia's latest missile attack on the northeastern Ukrainian city of Kharkiv has killed 1 person and injured 54 others. Local officials say the attack also damaged 15 apartment buildings. Russia has yet to respond to the reports. The United States has announced new fees on Chinese-built or operated ships stopping at US ports. More from the BBC's Jake Kwan.
From October, new port fees of up to $1.5 million will apply on any ships either operated by Chinese companies or made in China for each voyage they make to the U.S. There are concerns the fees could ultimately be passed on to U.S. consumers, who may also end up shouldering extra costs created by increased tariffs. Donald Trump's administration hopes the move will boost the domestic shipping industry and curb China's dominance in the sector, after an inquiry launched under the former President Joe Biden found Beijing had unfairly expanded its hold on maritime shipping.
An investigation has been opened into a cable car accident in southern Italy that's claimed the lives of 4 people. The cable car on Monte Feito near Naples had opened for the tourist season only 1 week earlier. The local mayor says the cable snapped, sending one of the cars plunging onto the ground below. The cable car is popular for its views of Mount Vesuvius and the Bay of Naples. And actor Ryan Gosling is set to star in a new Star Wars film. Walt Disney's Lucasfilm says Star Wars Starfighter will take place 5 years after the events of 2019, The Rise of Skywalker. You're up to date with the latest ABC News.
Hello, Patrick Stack here. Do you like sport and good conversation? Then we've got a great podcast for you. One cracking story, in depth, every day, in under 15 minutes. It's called ABC Sport Daily, and you can find it on the ABC Listen app.
This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
So Larkey left an earlier opportunity out there, makes no mistake here. He's on the board, and it's one North Melbourne badly need. So Carlton's lead trimmed to 25, 4 minutes into the second term. Curnow hooks it across the body for his second. The immediate answer for the Blues. And all of a sudden, Carlton restore a 31-point lead. Half a dozen minutes into the second term, Curtis is shooting on goal there at the moment, and he puts to his third. What a start for Paul Curtis. Played less than a quarter and a half, and he's got 3 already.
Convent hangs his kick. Akers comes across, pinches it.
That's 50. Got to be 50.
Out of his hands by Tucker. Umpire says, Darcy, come with me.
Oh, my goodness. Benny, that is just a comedy of errors. Well, not a comedy, because no North Melbourne fans finds that funny. That's just awful footy.
Blake Akers might see the funny side of it. He pokes it through, and the Navy train has a head of steam up.
To Daniel, kicks across the centre square. Roos away with it. Tucker, hand pass away to Power. Sweeping Polly Farmer, hand pass to half forward. Now with Zerha, kicks to full forward. Larkey down there. Shepard's the kick, it's a goal. Something out of nothing for the Roos. Game number 299. Luke Parker, right-footed drop punt. That's good. And North Melbourne edge the quarter, and they hang in this game.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
You heard it there. North Melbourne stay in the game on the back of 4-2 in that second quarter after trailing by 33 points. It is a 20-point game at the half. The Roos with a bit of momentum, and the second half upon us shortly. Now, the big news out of the footy world is that the incident between Logan Morris and Darcy Moore from the fourth quarter of last night's game was assessed. Moore and Morris ran back with the flight of the ball with their eyes on the ball as Jeremy Howe and Cam Rayner approach from opposite directions. With eyes on the ball, Morris makes contact with Moore, with Howe making high contact to Moore in the marking contest. Now, it was the view of the match review officer that the contact from Morris on Moore was not of a forceful nature, and that Morris, under the circumstances, could not have reasonably foreseen that Howe would make high contact with another player in the manner that occurred. Accordingly, it was the view of the MRO that Morris's conduct was not unreasonable in the circumstances, and no further action was taken. So in the end, doesn't even get a fine. So nothing to see here in terms of the Morris and Moore.
Well, that's fair enough.
Thing from last night.
Yeah. Okay. So it's kind of, it gives us. I think we're learning this one throughout this year. That's the baseline of not even a fine, certainly not a suspension, but we know what the upper end can be at that 3-week level, and if it falls somewhere in between, that's when the discussion starts.
So if he got concussion, would he have got weeks?
Well, judging by that explanation, we would like to think that no, because it's not a reportable
because of the action.
Right. Okay. So that's
But I think we're all a little cynical with it, as to whether there'd be someone held accountable. Have we got time for the story?
We've only got 9 seconds. We don't have time. We'll have to save it up. 3/4 time.
Oh, well, we've got another week with you, Benny. You've been told?
Don't make me tell the Seppelsfield story again.
It's a big story. West Coast and Essendon still to come tonight. That follows this match. So 8 quarters of footy on your Good Friday holiday. Carlton by 20 points. Second half upon us. And a little anticlimactic with the crooked bounce. Just repeating Hodgie's news from halftime. Zach Fisher out with the hamstring. Zane Duursma into the game. Carlton sub is Cooper Lord unused. Third quarter action. Away we go. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Carlton by 20.
Umpire puts it aloft, knocking it down. Here's to Koning. Ball into the muck. Gathering it, Chera off the Fogarty. Wrenched off at Hewitt. Umpire lets them roll, and they'll get a ball up.
I'm just intrigued with that centre bounce. 3 of Carlton players rushed in from the half-forward line, 1 of North Melbourne. So different techniques at both ends of the ground.
Carlton by 20 points. Sherry wins it down. Cripps gets the clear and kick going back. Duursma into the game. Doesn't take the mark. Roos have the numbers. Load. Handball away to Powell. Off to Daniel. Off to McDonald. Half-back flank here for the Roos. He squeezes a kick off hands. Now it's up on the wing. Gathered there by Hewitt. Dispossessed, holding the ball. Well done, Duursma.
Good couple of moments. Brave with that marking contest straight away from Dersma, and then followed up with a tackle maybe 10 seconds later. Good way to get yourself going as the sub.
Dersma, long kick down the wing, big ride from Zerha, can't complete the mark, hits the deck, and there's Curtis, where he needs to be, between wing and half forward, kicks inside 50, reckless to Koning, goes flying over the top, took out his own man in Ollie Hollins. Pack forms behind him and a ball up inside 50 for North.
That's a lot of weight landing on Hollins. Fortunately, he's back up and about, Corbs, but I was worried. That was Tom de Koning landing right on top of him.
Oh, yeah.
Ollie Hollins.
He hit in the air too.
Back up and okay. So Sherry for the Roos, grabs it out of the ruck for North. Handball, though, went to Chero. His hand pass, a turnover 2. Here's Curtis. Kicks to centre half forward and Stevens marks.
Geez, Curtis, everything he touches is clear class.
One of 10 recycled players in the North team today. As he kicks inside the forward 50 to the top of the goal square, coming through Darling, trying to knock it out. Hewitt, was he taken high or pushed in the back? He's getting a free. It's against Davies Uniacke and Hewitt to take it in the back pocket. Question from Tim in Wodonga. How well is George Hewitt going? Not just today, but this season.
Fair call. Great call. He's doing some sort of role, certainly, on Davies Uniacke. Not a hard tag, but just that strong body.
Punch back inside 50, there by Logue. Spills for the Roos for Davies Uniacke. Half forward flank, floating kick to full forward. Back there, Wiedering marks at fullback for the Blues. And he goes with the outlet kick to Durden in space on the city wing at Docklands.
I reckon Daniels dropped off him. That's terrible by Daniels.
His kick, not a good one to Elijah Hollins, but he picks it up on the half volley. Handball out for Walsh, misses him. Tumbles out, throwing coming. Just on the form of George Hewitt, he sits alongside Cripps and Cooter as the only Blues to have 27 disposals, more than 13 contested possessions, and more than 7 clearances in back-to-back weeks. Good company.
Very good company.
Carlton by 20 points early in the third.
A good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Rucks miss it completely. Was there a free kick there? No, said the umpire.
It's got to be a free kick, doesn't it?
Oh, he's got his arm grabbed. And
Sherry just
that was Parker, wasn't it?
Jumping into the back and over the shoulder of Hewitt, and in the end, no free kick.
That's just what said they cancel each other out, do they?
The umpire says keep going here.
Yeah.
Free kick for holding the ball as Cripps wraps up Davies Uniacke, the 2 number 9s.
Well, technically, it's not, because there was no prior opportunity, and Davies Uniacke was trying to dispose of it.
Cripps to Chero, kicks Carlton inside 50, hands on to mark. Curnow, strong, out on the lead, and hangs onto it in front of Aidan Core. He's got it left half forward, 30 out.
But I think when fans see that, they look at it obviously and go, well, he's just dropped it. It's got to be paid holding the ball. Something's happened.
Well, that's just going to sleep. That's what happened. Just watching the play here, Curnow just picked it up and just picked what target he wanted to kick to. All the North boys were just wandering around like Brown's cows.
Yeah, straight in front from goal.
So Adam Chera marks back in the corridor. And he'll have a kick from about 40 out, but better spot.
Those cows do wander around too, Benny.
Aimlessly.
Yeah.
Here's Adam Chera. Set shot in front of the sticks. Drop punt. He's good. Chera goals. And Carlton get the first of the second half. And the Baggers back out by 26, 10-5 to 6-3. 4.5 gone in the third term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. The Blues by 26.
I always like to see, Lingy, what happens after half-time compared to the game. So we know North Melbourne got back in the game through contested ball, a little bit more fortunate in the forward line, got the ball in the forward line more often, got more possessions in Carlton.
Evened up the clearances.
Yeah, and technically, so you'd see now, okay, it goes back now to Vossi. What does he do? Has things changed up? Well, the team itself doesn't look like it's changed dramatically. So right now, it just looks like to me Carlton are hunting the ball better than what they did in the first quarter. Now it's only early days, but it just appears that this is where North Melbourne are going to meet that head on to take that initiative away from them again.
Thoughts of coaching icon Mick Malthouse. Restart in the middle of Docklands. Neither ruck able to get a tap on it. Wardlaw makes it his. Gets a handball out. Can't find Davies Uniacke though. Walsh does find the football. Blues in possession. Haynes away to Cripps. Handball doesn't find the target. Going in, Finn O'Sullivan doing the fin spin as well. Now he drags it in. Umpire says holding the ball. Free kick Carlton.
Could have got a free kick for high contact himself there.
City wing, Durden takes it. Low bullet pass, finds Elijah Hollins. 52 metres out. He'll set it up into the opposite pocket looking for Williams. McKercher drops it. Williams gathers it. Has nowhere to go. Runs boundary side, pulls back his kick, and it will go away to the Kangas there in numbers. O'Sullivan away to McKercher.
Oh, tries to clear, but straight to Silvani. And the blue blood comes up with it 60 metres out, right half forward for Carlton. That is a shank inside the forward 50. One bounce out of play. Miskicked that. Jack Silvani. Of course, his dad, Stephen, stood Wayne Carey when these two teams played in the grand final against each other back in 99.
Fair players.
Absolutely, and there's a little connection to that game too through Jesse Motlop. So not just son of Daniel, of course, who played for North and Port, as De Koning grabs it out of the ruck and almost kicked it backwards. He had sprayed that off the side of the boot. Knocked away by Tucker of the Roos, but straight to Walsh. Handball away to Curnow, 40 out at half forward. Centering kick. Cottrell the target. Could spoil. McKercher got it down to Constanti. And the Roos work it out. Powell's kick comes wide. Finds Curtis. Nice defensive side of the wing for the Kangas.
Been busy today, Curtis. Kicked 3 goals. Kicks on the 45 here. Good for Powell.
That's a beautiful kick by Curtis. Magnificent kick. Dissected 2 or 3 Carlton players. Found the North Melbourne player on the chest.
Carlton by 26 points. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Powell goes short to Tucker. Out wide for Simpkin.
The end of that anecdote, by the way, was Jesse Motlop is the nephew of Shannon Motlop, who played in the Premiership for North.
Yes.
Simpkin kicks it onto Wardlaw, drops the mark, turns and kicks inside 50 for the Kangas. Loose footy, Silvani after it. Elijah Hollins wants a free kick, he'll get it. Clipped high. Free kick to the Blue Baggers. 40 out from their defensive goal, 26 points still the lead.
I was a little tackalingy. I was sitting in the old Ponsford stand underneath the scoreboard, which caught on fire about 3 weeks earlier. And
50.
What have we missed?
Well, there was a bit going on with just letting Hollins get up, but it seemed like they were both tangling at it. But in the end, I think the umpire just lost patience and said, "Nah, you know what? I'm just paying a 50."
Elijah Hollins kicks into the forward pocket. There's room there for Curnow as he hits up to meet it. Left the footy behind. Stays inside the field of play. Comben's handball ended up back with Curnow. Handball away to Will White, who fumbles for the Blues. Goes back, gets it, gives it to Hewitt. Handball back into dispute. Picked up by O'Sullivan. Spins into traffic. Caught holding the ball. Broke one tackle. Turned, tried to get out of another and was met by 2 Blues. And in the end, the kick's going to be taken by Will White. Back in the corridor, 35 out.
Just a real, I'd say, a young player's mistake. Because he just thinks he's back playing under 18 football. He can spin around. You might be able to break a tackle. They hold on.
Yeah, and one spin is at that level and you're out.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas one spin here, there's another one coming in to nail you.
For the last spot on the list after the injury to Jagger Smith, Will White, goals in front of the Carlton faithful. And the Blues are stretching this one out. A 32-point advantage, 9 gone in the third. 11-5-71, North Melbourne 6-3-39. And this game doesn't want to let me talk about Shannon Motlop, but basically he came through in the third quarter in party time and kicked the ball up into like the third tier and ran into an open goal. And obviously it was a good day for the Kangaroos.
It was a good day.
And I supposedly tell the boring stories.
Well, it was interrupted a bit. I've actually got one from Mary in South Hobart off the SMS. I don't barrack for Carlton or North. So the main reason I'm continuing to listen to the broadcast is to hear Ben's story. Bring it on.
He won't have a story.
Great, Mary, because I can guarantee it won't be as good as Corbs.
He'll be making it up as we go.
Won't have Shannon Motlop in it, I know that.
9 goal kickers Carlton for North Melbourne. And that gives you a bit of an idea how the work has been spread.
Yep.
And it's not all about Curnow. It's about just making sure you put your teammate in a good position to score.
Sherry with the tap, but Hewitt steals it for the Blues, gives it to Chera. High kick inside 50, bouncing ball. Tucker cleans up there for the Kangas to Core. Back to Tucker and now McDonald. Left foot clear and kick up to the wing. Leading up Silvani. Can't take the mark, spills it. Follows up at ground level, paddles it out. Thrown on the wing.
Oh, Jack Darling. I knew he was slowing up. If you get Silvani outrun him, they were standing next to each other, and Silvani, by the time he hit the football, was about 2.5 metres in front of him. I don't know whether Jack Darling's the ideal situation to have up there next to try to chase the ball out of the forward line.
Still got 2 years on his deal after this year.
Jack got a 3-year deal, Benny.
Taps it down onto it, Powell. Back feeds a handball to Davies Uniacke. Hooks the ball across the body. Around the wing there for the Roos. Cottrell at the spill of the ball for the Blues. Has it Backward of the wing is kicked there for Walsh. Just in the field of play. No boundary umpire within Kiwi. Breakdown there in their systems.
Walsh looks corridor, daring kick. Carroll the target, he's outnumbered. If the Roos can get it to ground, hits the deck. Carroll grabs it, Powell's got him. Big tackle, umpire says I'll have it.
Great follow-up, Carroll. Fantastic. It was a risky kick from Walsh, probably a silly kick in the end. 4 North Melbourne players closing in on it. But Carroll followed up after the mark, just created a ball up. Now his team can reset a bit.
Takani wins it down. Simpkin kicks it forward for the Roos. Here's Larkey. He marks, but he's right on halfway.
Well, it was 2 on 2 now, but now it's Carlton are outnumbering. That's why he can't go into the front 50. Not enough players.
Goes to the city wing, finds Stevens. He's about 70 metres out, and he lays it up now to the hot spot, working his way to the front. Constantine, no mark. Hits the deck, Larkey's back on it, trying to grab it. In the end, he grabs McGovern as he picks up the footy, and the ump says, I'll have it, and a forward 50 stoppage for the Roos. So Carlton by 32 points, a dozen minutes into the third. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Umpire puts it aloft. Sherry works into good position. De Koning reaches over the top, taps it down. Simpkin gives it to Powell, flying shot. He's wide of the mark, out of bounds on the full. So Carlton to get it back in their back pocket. Lead it by 32 points. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. And Silvani takes the kick, moves it to Haynes. Running from the back pocket, sends Carlton up towards the wing, and Fogarty glides past Tucker to mark, loops a handball. Wiedering running down the dockside wing, takes a bounce, now kicks into the pocket, tries to wait it for Motlop. McDonald spoils, brings it to ground.
Still a live footy, half forward here for the Blues, picked up by Walsh, spun around, handball back to Fogarty, 70 metres out, kicks inside 50, hand on it from Akers, no marks, slides through to Curnow, fights through the tackle, got it back to Akers, forward pocket, Peter Dacos effort, hits Comben in the bonds, still a live footy, Comben goes and gets it a second time, he's tackled, ump says keep going, ball comes out the back door, the Blues win it again, Fogarty to Hewitt, Hewitt snapping, Hewitt goaling! And all of a sudden, it's as wide as it's been. Carlton by 38 points. 14 gone in the third term. Carlton 12-5-77, new game high. Lead North Melbourne 6-3-39. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. The coaching icon, Mick Malthouse, and the premiership cat, Cameron Ling.
5 times inside 50, North Melbourne. No score. It's just gone in, come straight out with that. The fierceness of the contest has to start. When that ball goes in there, you've got to be able to defend it and keep it in there. Gone.
At least keep it in there for a little while.
Yeah, just ball up or a throw in or something. So you have another go at it. So now Carlton have gone forward and kicked 3 goals out of 6 times. I think it is 6 or 7 times inside. Carlton have swung what North Melbourne had in terms of aggression to the voice of football. It's not beyond them to get back into it. It just simply means you've got to put your mind to it and don't allow easy access to the ball.
10 individual goal kickers for the Blues here today. Scrap on in the middle. Simpkin flicks it out. Wardlaw with some running room. Driving ball inside 50 for the Kangas. Larkey can't mark. Ball spits out the back in the back pocket. Carroll gets a kick away. Onto it quickly, Parker. He's tackled by McGovern. Umpire wants it in the forward pocket here for the Kangas. Players congregate around it. Darling and Young to do the ruck work. Darling lays it down, trying to burst through Zerha. Nothing doing, and a throw-in coming. Carlton by 38 points. Quarter-hour mark here in the third.
Mentioned guys from other teams that are playing today, so both these teams have scoured the country to put their lists together. So 9 from North Melbourne have come from other clubs, 10 from the Blues. Second or third home in some cases. One of those, Darling, grabs it out of the ruck, releases Zerha, lost his footing. Did he get clipped high? No, holding the ball. There's a mixed response. The cheers from the Carlton fans, which is almost a Bronx cheer as they get a whistle. And
it was definitely a high one, but he was down and he ducked further. So
he dipped that shoulder, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. So it was a good decision by the umpire.
He's still peeling himself off the turf here at Dockland Stadium. Cam Zerha, and a short kicking game for the Blues, work it all the way to half-back. McGovern's been told to get on with it. No one comes to him, and he retreats all the way back to fullback. Wiedering takes the mark, looks out to the city side. Long kick for White. Leaps up in the air, no mark. Just wants the footy, hunting at Wardlaw, gets there for North. High half forward, handball to Stevens, back to Wardlaw, cruising speed, caught by Haynes. Great chase down tackle, Nick Haynes wins it back for the Blue Baggers. Carlton by 38 points, 16 gone in the third.
Gets up and still chases.
Moves it on short to Silvani, kicks around the City wing ball, pinballs back. Stevens there for the Kangas. Comes up with a footy, short for Dersma. Drops the mark, follows up at ground level. Handball to Stevens, who's followed up. Handball to Sheasel. Chips it inside 50. Zerha goes up. Wiedering though. He looked like Jonty Rhodes. He parried it in the air to himself and then got it on the way down.
Or did he? Or was it Cam Zerha who knocked it up first?
Yeah, I think Zerha might have been the first hand.
And the descent rule is officially gone.
Yep.
Because Zerha has just given it to the umpire.
We just decided to stop doing that after a while, didn't we?
Yeah.
Carlton by 38 points. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
I mean, it costs teams games of footy and costs people livelihoods and things like that, but hey, let's just move on without making a statement about it.
McGovern long down the wing and Young punches it out of bounds. Are they chanting bull dust? What's that chant that's going around the crowd at the moment?
Yeah, bull something. Cool.
Bull Zerha, is that what they're... might be it. Bull Zerha. 38-point lead for the Blues, 17 gone in the third term. Crowd's involved, despite the fact we're at the game-high margin. Feels like the Blues about to bust it open as Darling grabs it out of the right, kicks it forward, rolls out of bounds. Ump says boundary throw in. It's a hot down there, Hodgie, not in terms of the temperature, but in terms of the atmosphere, the crowd.
Yeah, and it's an angry supporter base still. I mean, this is the one game, I think, where North Melbourne fans every year will book their tickets and come to this game to support this cause as much as anything. And for their team to be so disappointing today, I think their probably marking contest was about their last straw.
Carlton by 38 points, boundary throw in, Sherry can't collect and in the end rolls back out of bounds. High half forward for the Roos. Carlton by 38.
It's hard to see where the 6 goals are going to come from North Melbourne, particularly the way they entrance into the forward line. Got to get more football outside clear so they can actually settle on the kick that goes in.
Throw in on the wing, Sherry palming it down for Powell, and he's caught. He had no prior opportunity.
None whatsoever. None whatsoever.
How have we gone today with the holding the ball?
That's dreadful. He picked the football and was grabbed straight away. Made an effort to get rid of it and was locked into him.
I'm told I'm not allowed to swear on the radio, Corb, so I won't make a comment about it today.
Paddy Cripps wasn't following those rules a few weeks ago as Elijah Hollands kicks around the wing, picked up by Akers, turnover, ball back with North through core, half-back flank wide out, comes infield to McDonald. It goes to Simpkins, centre half-back. Carlton lead it by 38, 19 played, third term, Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
That's the fourth kick, and they've gained 10 metres with it.
Comben now defensive side of the wing. Handball to McDonald, sold him into trouble. And Akers tackles him out of bounds and uplifts some of the furniture in the process.
The reason why I'm disappointed in that's not playing smart football. It's not seeing the game. The hand pass was going to go to someone and it was McDonald's going to run smack bang into a Carlton play. Better off kicking the ball into their forward line.
Taconin and Sherry's at Adelaide most of the day. Free kick here for Simpkin. Yes, he was tackled before he got it. I think both teams are going with the Bronx cheer when they earn one at the moment.
I don't think Carlton are going to complain about it.
It's 8-1 in the quarter now. 8-2 Carlton's way, the free kick count.
No, this is the movement here.
Oh, no.
Dangerous. Tried to go short back inboard to McDonald, turned it over. Young for the Blues. Handball to Cripps. Hand pass in behind Elijah Holland. Still a chance for Carlton through the corridor. Williams scoops it up, gives it to DeConing. Long kick. They're all running downhill. Will White out after it. Leading Logue to the footy. Wants to get back on his... in fact, he goes off his right peg. Kicks inboard and turns it over as McKercher takes the intercept mark. He's a natural lefty, Will White. McKercher with it, centre half back for North. Carlton by 38 points, time on third quarter.
McKercher kicks laterally to Powell. Back pocket. It's just in front of core.
Here we go again. This is this merry-go-round, kicking the ball without gaining ground. This is what gets them into trouble.
Core does take some territory with his kick, but DeConing in from the side. Gets a nice little ride and takes the intercept mark for the Blues. Wheels and kicks back inside 50. Pack forms through the hands out the back. Elijah Hollands tackled by Daniel. Umpire lets them play. Comes out in favour of the Kangas and away they go. Sheasel, Powell, Simpkin. Back to Sheasel, forward handball to Zerha.
Zerha runs it over halfway, run and carry, now dishes it off back to Simpkin, looks up inside 50, nothing there. Handball swatted down by Chera, Blues back the other way, gives it to Ollie Hollins, his handball knocked down by Sheasel. Hollins tackles him, Sheasel got it away, Simpkin for North, handball away to Zerha, 70 out, surge kick inside the forward 50, Wiedering back, had a fair piece of it, no mark. Falls to McGovern, Carlton mop it up, gives it to Cottrell, and there's numbers out wide. And Carroll sits underneath it, takes the mark uncontested at half-back.
Oh, I've never seen so many players free in the North Melbourne 50-metre line and no one looks at it. Simpkin has given away the football 3 times with his last 3 possessions, so he's got to give it up.
Carroll kicks to a contest on the wing. Coming through there is Core. Ball spills out to Tucker. North in possession. Handball into the boot of Akers. And it ricochets out, but not on the full throw-in.
No wonder Larkey gets frustrated. He was totally clear on 3 occasions with a player not electing to kick to him, hand pass to another player who was under pressure.
So is that instruction or is that a decision-making thing?
Well, how do you know?
Thoughts of the coaching icon Mick Malthouse, tapping it down Sherry, straight to Parker, squeezes a kick inside 50. Here is Larkey gathering the loose ball. There's a holding free kick. It'll go to Carlton. Now McGovern to receive it. 40 out from his defensive goal. Blues by 38 points.
9-2 in the quarter, the free kick count. Big intercept mark for young O'Sullivan, the first year Brood. Handball away towards Parker, kicks inside the forward 50, Larkey to target. Spills down to Wiedering and he just bangs it out of there with a big torp. Didn't quite hit it. Bounces away to half forward for the Blues. Logue leading White back, wants the safety to boundary line, just paddles it out of bounds. You can't argue with that one, North Melbourne fans. That is as blatant as it gets. An insufficient intent. That was the only thing he wanted, Griffin Logue.
The size are better than that.
Oh.
He's a better player than that, so I don't know why. One-on-one.
White kicks it back to Cottrell, goes deep to Curnow, bounces off his chest.
Tackled to the ground.
He's getting a free. And Curnow will take it left forward pocket, 25 out, and he'll go back and have a look at number 3.
All right, North Melbourne fans, you've been very harshly done by for a big chunk of this quarter, but not the last 2.
And also, the decision-making by some of the players in North Melbourne has been quite extraordinarily bad. When you've got a player like Larkey, who is a proven goal kicker.
He kicked 2-4 last week. He's got 2-3 so far today. Charlie Curnow hooks it across the body. He's got 3-3. And the Blues have got something cooking. A 44-point advantage for Carlton. Time on in the third, 13-5-83. North Melbourne 6-3-39. Cameron Ling, Mick Malthouse, ABC Sport.
Well, unfortunately, Mick, when we look at the fact that we're probably looking and hoping for a good close game, and you think, well, if North Melbourne can just get a couple of goals this quarter, we're game on going into the last. They've had little passages of play, but they have just burnt opportunity after opportunity, and then you go down the other end of the ground and it's the threat of Curnow more than anything there that just causes Core to basically tackle him to the ground when he didn't have the footy in a marking contest, and that's the difference. North Melbourne's ball use is just killing them.
Yeah, it's killing their forward. Well, it's killing them around the ground.
Lines,
Well, you get Simpkin, who's the club captain. He handled the ball 3 times. One was a missed kick into the centre of the ground, and that poor hand pass. Then the next kick only went, 10 metres on the ground.
Looks like another game where North are going to concede in excess of 100 points. Clearance from Davies Uniacke up towards half forward, flying in Akers. A whistle in there somewhere. Free kick going the way of the Roos. McKercher spinning this Sherrin in his hands. Kicks out wide. Stevens marks.
It's okay to go wide if you've got an alternative kick. Now he's got to punch the ball in the air.
Stevens goes low inside 50. Sard gets a hand on it, breaks it up, comes down for Walsh. Tackled quickly. Are there any signs, Lingy and Mick, that there are improvements for North?
Not today.
There's nothing standing out except Wardlaw.
Sherry taps it down. Parker goes the bicycle kick. Let him up on the last line. Wiedering in the pocket. He's under the pump, nowhere to go. Can't get rid of it. Holding the ball, says the umpire.
Wow, got it right, and a great tackle. Really great tackle. That's a big man in Wiedering.
Yep, but it was our man who can bench press 140.
Yeah.
Paul Curtis who could control him there, Mick.
Spot on, and that shows you just do the work. That's a great tackle from it. Oh, got the leg around it as well. That's World Championship Wrestling.
Isn't it?
What is it, the 4-figure leg lock? Or whatever
it was.
It is WrestleMania season, by the way.
He's been a shining light and a tough day. Curtis trying to curl it through. Just slides it across the face. Carlton lead by 43, 26 minutes into the third. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
That's the first score, I think. Lingy.
Yeah, before the wrestling
first
fans.
score of the quarter.
Before the wrestling fans get me those calls, I think it's the figure four.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Sorry, wrestling fans.
Corby is one of those.
Ric Flair and everyone else. A long kick up towards the wing. Cripps flying for it. No mark. Spills down towards Hewitt. Long hand pass out in front of Cottrell. Kicks it along the ground. Claim bowls Williams out of play. Half forward for the Blues. Again, quick transition from the kick out all the way up the forward 50 stoppage for Carlton. Blues by 43 points. David off the SMS. Ben, please. I've been 150 kilometres waiting for your story. Now I'm sitting in the garage still waiting. Hurry up so I can go and have a cup of tea.
Oh, it's a waste of time. Go to bed.
Oh, come on, Mick.
Appreciate you staying with us at ABC Sport. From the boundary throw in. Powell. Handball away to Davies Uniacke. Gives it by hand to Parker. His handball, a turnover. Williams onto it. Williams goals. Party time for the Blues. And we haven't even hit three-quarter time. A second for Williams. And Carlton out by 49 points. 14-5-89. North Melbourne 6-4-40. Deep into time on third quarter. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
And sadly, that's someone who's played nearly 300 games of footy there, just panicking. Awful handball by the veteran Luke Parker. And Zach Williams just swooped onto it, but that was panic in defence. But that's what happens when the ball lives deep in your 50, your defensive 50. Even experienced players can have moments like that. And it is just all Carlton.
You know what the 50s are this quarter, Lingy, without looking?
12-8?
11-11.
11-11. Okay.
So that's
the ball.
5 straight to 1 behind.
Yeah, yep. And that's the difference. Cleaner.
What are they reviewing here?
I thought that was the review signal as well.
Yeah.
I think he's just given a 666 warning. Maybe did the little TV signal.
666 warning for the Kangas, I think, because it was gesticulated towards Tristan Sherry in the middle. Bounce favours him as well, but De Koning comes across. Tap goes down to Chera, kicks towards full forward. Kangas getting each other's way. Spills to Williams, who swivels, snaps, goals. 3 for him. And they are piling on the pain for the Kangas. 55 points. 15-5-95 plays 6-4-40. 28 minutes into the third. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Mick, you were a tough defender. I played with some of the most ruthless defenders to ever walk the planet. They would walk up to us in the midfield and unleash on us right now.
Oh, exactly.
That centre bounce play from North Melbourne was about as bad as you get. And it's been that way the whole game. Chera
walked through.
Had just a little passageway. Just said, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
Would you like us to roll out the red carpet as well?
Just play a 6. In other words, directly behind the ruckman, so you've got a net there. At least have some capacity to
kick it over your head.
Exactly. Yeah. Stop them being right now, the defensive player has been dragged back 10 metres and he'll get sucked into the play by running in with. Yep, sucked in.
6 straight to 1 behind in the quarter, Carlton's way, and Zach Williams with 2 in a minute as Chera gets another centre break, kicks it out to half forward, White and O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan desperately got a hand on the jumper. White keeps his feet, kicks to Fogarty, who leaps up and marks. And Carlton's number 8 has got it at left half forward, 45 out.
Well, Carlton Daniels did everything he possibly could to grow to 6'1".
Yeah.
And that's all he needed to be, 6'1", to spoil that. And certainly wasn't his fault. But again, Lingy, clearance out of the centre again is, and this time it come out the left-hand side, no defence.
Lockie Fogarty, not a noted goal kicker, got one last week. He clips the post here. So behind, and Carlton's lead is 56 points, 15-6 to 6-4. 31 minutes gone in the third term, and we touched on a moments ago, Carlton just 2 more inside 50s for the quarter, 13 to 11, and yet 6 goals won to 1 behind. And this has been the gap in the game. As a result, after leading by 20 at half-time, Carlton are up by over 9 goals now.
Course short to Comben, who looks long up to the wing, off the hands of the pack, out of play, thrown on the wing.
Lot starts off the ground. I cannot believe what you've said about Jack Darling having another 2 years on top of this for a start off. He was shot to death in last 3 years at West Coast. What's going to make him be a better player in 3 years down the track unless he's playing veterans football?
De Koning wins the tap down. Stolen by Davies Uniacke of North. Gives it to Sheasel by hand. Sheasel kicks to half forward. Here is Darling gathering the football. Dispossessed in a tackle. Spills out to Curtis. Curtis gets it off to Wardlaw. Inside 50, the Roos. Wardlaw pulls the trigger, goals.
Good on him.
Something for North today. Wardlaw's tried his guts out. Back to 50 points. 15-6-96. Plays 7-4-46. I said Curtis was the shining light. Maybe Wardlaw is another Mick Malthouse and Cameron Lee.
Well, he is, because we've said it, he's had a crack ever since the moment he entered the field. He came on at about the 6 or 7 minute mark of the first quarter, and he was straight into it. He's cracking in, doing everything he can to win the ball, to try and stop the opposition winning the ball, and then that's just that little moment there from Wardlaw of he's also got the skill and the brilliance too. Because he's competitive and he's hard and does all that stuff, Mick, but just the ability to have that composure there, fake the little handball, straighten up, go bang, that's a great sign. That was why he's a high draft pick, inside and outside ability.
Back in the middle, Davies Uniacke had a play on it, tapped away from him by De Koning, close to the wing. De Koning just clears out some bodies. The footy remains there to be won. Akers goes and does that. Handball away towards Chera, tries to whack it forward. Straight to O'Sullivan, attempt to defend off, lost the pill. Picked up by Sherry of North. Handball to Davies Uniacke, his handball a turnover. White goes and wins it, in close on the City wing. And that'll do us. 3 quarters down, and Carlton very much have the game in their keeping. It is the Blues, 15-6-96, North Melbourne, 7-4-46. And a lot of eyes, I'm sure, on Alistair Clarkson and his coaching team as they make their way down at 3-quarter time to address the Roos. This is their marquee game in its 8th edition, and there's high hopes leading in against a team around their station, both with just 1 win to show for their opening 5 weeks of the year. And after the Roos had leaked some heavy scores in the last 3 weeks, they said they wanted something better defensively. Well, they've conceded 96 points through 3 quarters of footy. And they're destined to concede 3 figures again, which has become a trend since the start of last season. All but 6 occasions of their last 28 games, they've coughed up 100 points. And again, it's looming that way. Zach Fisher did his hamstring just before half-time. It's been a pretty sorry tale for North Melbourne this afternoon. All right, the goal kickers, there's plenty of them from a Carlton point of view. Curnow and Williams both have 3. Williams kicked 2 in a matter of minutes in that quarter. Meanwhile, 2 goals for Corey Durden. They both came in the opening term, and then 1 each for Chera, Young, Cripps, Akers, De Koning, Hewitt and White. Meanwhile, for North Melbourne, we've got 3 goals for Paul Curtis, and then 1 each for Larkey, Zerha, Wardlaw and Parker. 50 points. Carlton's lead at 3-quarter time. Joan from Geelong says, I'm with Mary. I don't support either of these teams, but love listening to you guys. Go the Cats. Thanks, Joan. Nice to hear from you. 0437 774 774. The thoughts of Mick Malthouse and Cameron Lee coming up next. This is Good Friday Footy on ABC Sport.
The footy might stop with the final siren, but with ABC AFL, the conversation keeps rolling. Get ABC AFL Daily Podcast with Premiership coach Paul Roos alongside Corbin Middlemass, Ben Cameron and Poppy Penny.
From walking on thin ice to dancing on the mountaintop.
It's your daily footy conversation. Find it on the ABC Listen app. This is the 2025 AFL Premiership season on ABC Sport.
Here's Adam Chera. Set shot in front of the sticks. Drop punt. He's good. Chera goals. And Carlton get the first of the second half. And the Baggers back out by 26 for the last spot on the list. After the injury to Jagger Smith, Will White, goals in front of the Carlton faithful. And the Blues are stretching this one out. Comben goes and gets it a second time. He's tackled. Says keep going. Ball comes out the back door. The Blues win it again. Fogarty to Hewitt. Hewitt snapping. Hewitt goaling. And all of a sudden it's as wide as it's been. Carlton by 38 points. Kicked 2-4 last week. He's got 2-3 so far today. Charlie Curnow hooks it across the body. He's got 3-3. And the Blues have got something cooking. Handball away to Davies Uniacke. Gives it by hand to Parker. His handball a turnover. Williams onto it. Williams goals. Party time for the Blues.
Christian Sherry in the middle. Bounce favours him as well, but De Koning comes across. Tap goes down to Chera. Kicks towards full forward. Kangas getting each other's way. Spiels to Williams, who swivels, snaps, goals.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the AFL.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
Blues by 50 here, the first leg of the doubleheader for Good Friday footy. Coming up next, the jacket match, the West Coast Eagles and the Essendon Football Club at Perth Stadium. Clint Wilden heading up the call. Clint.
Corbin, tell Ben not to go anywhere because I'm hanging on for the story as well. So I'll be real quick. Here are the subs for the West Coast Eagles. It's Tom Gross. For Essendon, Saad El Houli, it's about 21 degrees, partly cloudy. Big game for the Bombers. They've won their last 4 up against the West Coast Eagles, and hasn't the management, what an interesting term, of Oscar Allen caused a bit of stink in the leading to this game. They do get McGovern, Flynn, Kelly and Hewitt back. Odd to see how Kelly can come back when, and I'll give you the quote, they need to get him playing back up to his level from Andrew McQualter during the week. Obviously 20 disposals and 5 tackles were enough in the WAFL to have him back in the team. One change for the Bombers, rights in, Brian out of course with the ACL. It's all coming up, but I'm desperate to hear Ben's story. We've all been hanging on.
It's been overhyped.
Oh, don't play it down now.
Come on, Benny.
Don't play it down now.
Go for it, Benny. The floor's yours.
To go to the well with one of your embarrassing stories, Mick. But no, so what happened yesterday? I was out for a walk, and you go for a lot of walks, Mick.
Yep.
You bump into people.
Yes.
So on the side of the road where I live, I see someone I know who works at Essendon, the commercial department. I say, oh, how's it going? I'm noting their car. They've got piles of jackets, like sort of the varsity Essendon jackets. I say, what are all they for? He said, I just got to give them to someone. Next thing I know, Sheeds rolls up.
Not Kevin Sheedy.
Kevin Sheedy, the Kevin Sheedy.
What?
And sure enough, Kevin Sheedy comes in, collects all of these jackets. And I only twigged today that obviously the jacket match, he must take them all to WA, presumably sign them, do whatever he does, and
off they go.
Log them off.
That's what a story.
What about the poor guy's been sitting in his car after driving 150 Ks, Benny?
The end.
I didn't say it was a good story.
The end. Are they selling the movie rights to that one? Can we get that made into a film or something?
On behalf of...
Well, that once bitten, twice shy. Now you know. No more stories from
Mick,
Ben.
I'll tell the story about you.
Mick, just on behalf of ABC Sport, should we apologise to everyone for...
Oh, do so, please.
Kevin Sheedy got some jackets from someone at the Bombers, and there's a jacket match tonight because once he waved the jacket over his head and all the fans did it. That was the story.
I didn't say it was a good
3
story.
quarters and
bloke in the garage.
2.5 hours of our lives.
Oh,
Carlton by 50 points. By the way, the MRO news, no case to answer for Logan Morris after his collision with Darcy Moore.
I can see the SMS line. There's a text that just says, that's it.
The MRO's just come down with his finding. Benny's got 3 weeks. Terrible story.
Bring back Kelly. Is that another one says that?
Plenty.
Carlton by 50 points. Final term underway. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. What can the Roos get out of this final term? Can they save a bit of face in their marquee game as Simpkin knocks it out? Quick kick forward from Parker into the side to forward 50. Gee, heavy collision there. His body's hit the deck. He says keep going. Sheasel tries to hook the kick back to Davies Uniacke. He gets a handball over the top to Dersma. He snaps and Dersma kicks a goal.
Very good goal.
So a good way to start. The Roos get the opener in the final term, but they are coming from a long way back. Carlton's lead trimmed to 44, 1 minute into the final term. 15-6-96. Carlton, they lead North Melbourne 8-4-52. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Well, we know Kevin Sheedy was picking up some jackets yesterday from someone involved in the Bombers.
Cam Zerha was the one you were talking about, Corbs, who came flying through and landed really heavily. looked sore. He stayed down for a little while, but
he's
got up okay now, taking his position back inside that North Melbourne forward line. But you're right, it was a good contest, good attack on the ball. Ball spilt to ground and
hasn't done enough though to for me today.
No, that's fair. Yeah, I mean it hasn't been down there a lot.
It hasn't. But when it has, he needs to feature more. He's a strong fella. He hits the ball hard. He's generally a good kick for goal. Just needs more of the ball.
Restart in the middle. Sherry again following up his tap at ground level. Spits out from a courtesy of a handball from Luke Parker onto Adzard. He has nowhere to go and a ball up in the middle. Carlton by 44 points.
She's led much of the football. Just haven't seen enough of him. He's brilliant, but just haven't seen enough of it.
Sherry backhands it down again and Simpkin nowhere to go. Now the ball up coming.
Only the 20, Mick. Well, not only the 20. He's had 20, but hasn't had a huge impact.
No.
Sherry again, down for Simpkin. Kicks to full forward. Curtis can't mark. Spills out. Parker gathers. Off a step. Goals. Back-to-back majors for the Roos in this term. 2 for Parker and 3 in succession in the game. It's back to 38 points. 15-6-96. Plays 9-4-58. 2 played fourth term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Mick, sometimes it's pretty basic, isn't it? Get it out of the middle and get it forward. And sometimes when there's even numbers ahead of the play, just any way you can. It was a quick kick. Good contest by Curtis, as he's done all day. He's been good, and Parker got to where you got to get to. Front and centre.
Simpkin
and a nice
Parker.
kick.
Yeah, Simpkin Parker clearances.
Yep.
To generally strong. I think Simpkin's doing disappointing today. Probably knows it. Just trying too hard, but having a real crack. They just got to have numbers in there that can defend the football and get the ball out. Good ruck work again.
DeConing and Sherry. DeConing with the hit out and then the follow-up. Oh, there's a free kick for a hot. It's going Carlton's way. DeConing took the advantage and was caught holding the ball. And before the umpire had even signalled, DeConing threw it to Davies Uniacke and said, yep, fair play. It's your win.
Ruckman trying to break free of the centre and no one else is about them.
Goes wide to Sherry, handball away to Griffin Logue, off a step, just bangs it 50 metres inside the forward arc. Zerha flies, didn't take the mark, but comes down with it off the deck. Fends off one, did he get him a little high? He did, and fend off on Jack Silvani and a free kick for Carlton. So Blues by 38, 3.5 gone final term. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Lingy, question, do you see Silvani as being the answer to a backline player, given the way he hasn't really done a lot on the forward line in his career?
Well, I don't see him going back to the forward line necessarily, and I think if he finds a spot, it'll be in that back line as that third mobile-ish type defender. But I'm also not 100% sold on it.
No. It's an awkward position because he's not overly quick.
No, and he's not an elite intercept marker either.
No.
Carlton chip it up to the wing. Ollie Hollands kicks in the direction of Curnow. Tumbling to ground, drops the mark. Cripps. Handball away to Hewitt, to Curnow. Back to Ollie Hollands. Gang tackled by the Roos. Just inside the attacking 50 here for Carlton.
So Curnow's asking the question too, why not me? That ball should have been directed towards him at least.
Umpire puts it aloft. Sherry slapping it down onto it quickly. Caleb Daniel. I'm going to redeem myself with the Mick story.
Back to the well.
I don't think you need to try to redeem yourself. Ben, you failed miserably. So
the Koning palms it forward for the Blues, but the Kangas are there through McKercher. Combin under pressure at fullback. Stolen by Curnow. He snaps and goes. He's got 4 and he loves playing against the Kangas. Third consecutive game he's kicked 4 against this opposition. 16-6, 102. Plays 9-4-58. And once again, for a 5th time this year, North Melbourne concede triple figures. Mick Malthouse, Cameron Ling.
Well, that's the old equation there. I know you know it back to front. The more you force a side back without taking steps, and that's what, when the ball comes to you, you have to hand pass it, then you get it in your hand pass it, get it in your hand. At some stage, you're going to lose the ball or get caught. And then you cough the ball up under pressure. It's exactly what took place. And that's why good sides will keep pressuring you. On the converse side of it, good sides then, when it's in the hands, they bang out towards the boundary. If it goes out in the full, who cares? They've got a kick from 50, not in the 10-yard square.
44-point lead for the Blues. On the back of that goal for Curnow, his fourth more than anyone else on the ground. De Koning down to Hewitt, kick smothered. And Chera gets another look at it. Hand pass goes forward. Motlop clever, taps it to Walsh. The weapon, he's off and running, just affecting the kick. Nice lunging, diving effort from the Roos defender. Ball spills out towards McKercher. McKercher spun around, got a handball back into dispute. Carlton win it back. Motlop on the end of it, snaps, and then the leaping effort on the line knocked through.
Well, I think they've actually paid a free kick here, Corbs. So but I don't necessarily know how, because it's for a push in the front, which...
Is that a rule?
You're not actually allowed to... that's not a free kick, is it?
No, I think you're allowed to do that. You can shove them in the side or in the front. Can't shove them in the back, but maybe they said, the ball wasn't in a 5 metre area. Is that the...
Perhaps, yeah.
Anyway, free kick for North, which means no score. Carlton by 44.
McKercher kicks to the opposite pocket. Ball picked up by Daniel. His short kick doesn't find a target. Nearly comes back to him. Blues are there, though. White tackled by Daniel, taken to ground.
Hang on.
And holding the ball.
How is that holding the ball when he's got no prior opportunity?
No idea.
Corbs, I said I wasn't going to swear, but it's getting harder and harder.
Tim Hodges.
Ben Carlton has made their sub. Elijah Hollands is back in the team, but now out of it after 3 1/2 quarters. And Cooper Lord, who... Come back to me on Cooper Lord, can you? He comes into the game.
Thank you, Hodgie. Great work down there. Sheasel gets rid of it to Simpkin, who kicks into the middle of the ground for North. Stevens drops the mark, goes and picks it up. Handball back to Core on the logo. Kicks to half forward. Out wide on the flank, Zurha marks. Curtis on in the pocket. Doesn't like that option.
Larky long.
Skips back off the mark, goes long now. Larky's down there 3-on-1. And they punch it through. Wiedering launching back with the flight. Carlton lead by 43 points, Tim Hodges.
Cooper Lord running on for the first time. Just check that hair, Lingy. You've had some bad mullets in your time. That looks like it's permed at the back. So it is a real. Not that I can talk about hair, but it is a really bad hairdo. Well, Cooper Lord is rolling with.
Trendsetter in fashion now. He's been a meteorologist for
He's got no sides. He's got the shaved sides. Cooper Lord. It's straight on top. But then out the back, it's like Gary Hocking.
Yep. If you're going to have a party at the back, you may as well make it a good one.
Yeah.
You think he's maybe gone that's not just how the hair naturally falls, is it?
That's a rave all-nighter sort of party at the back. And Saad plays on in the back pocket and then goes short to Carroll. And, number 36, Cooper Lord. Carroll across one back pocket to the other, fine. Silvani kicks out of defence to Haynes. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport and good build-up by the Blues to Cottrell. He sends his kick back inboard to Lord. Here he is right on cue. The fresh legs on the ground. The sub for Carlton. Lord kicks inside 50. No mark. Hits the deck. Hewitt's there. Handball to Motlop. Motlop goals. Carlton in celebration mode. And the Blues poke through another. And Carlton back out by 49. 9 minutes gone in the final term. 17-6, 108. North 9-5-59. But far too easy. End-to-end footy. Tim Hodges on the boundary. Hodgie.
Just watching Jacob Wiedering, he's a watch. Both doctors were out to him trying to get him off the ground. So he's going to be... Give me a minute or so just to see what the... So both doctors and both physios are now with Jacob Wiedering. So you know it's a pretty big issue when he comes off. He is with the Rolls Royce for the Blues.
He's pointing to the top of the shin, like knee area, with the doctors from that marking contest where he went back and spoilt the ball. Bit sore, and he's going to head down the race, hobbling away. Obviously, one of the most important players for this Carlton lineup, but it's getting a little nasty now for the Kangaroos. That was an easy goal, easy goal.
Koning hooking the tap out after it's Simpkin. He then has to turn tackler on Walsh, then knocks down a Chera handball. Ball comes out towards Akers, who gets rid of it. And now Carroll on his left leg, chipping inside 50, looking for Motlop, juggles it. He's got it again. 30 out directly in front. And he'll have a look at his second.
Do you know he's Shannon Motlop's nephew? In the premiership at North.
Oh, thank you, Corbs.
Well, I've still got my mixed story up my sleeve for later. Carlton are just cruising here.
Nick won't let you get away with it, Benny. You got to watch out.
No more build-ups. Can't tease out another story.
Kick to goal just a minute ago. Trying to double dip. Motlop does just that. It's turned into a rout. 55 points. 18-6, 114 plays, 9-5-59. 11 minutes into the fourth. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, we mentioned about North Melbourne after half-time in a lot of matches this year where they've faded badly. I'm not convinced it would be fitness. As I said before, it has to be mental. It has to be maybe just dropping the head and thinking the game's done and dusted.
Last week, they were 6 points up in the third quarter and lost by 50.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this.
There needs to be a little bit more grit of the teeth and just go, I'm just not going to let this happen.
As I said to you, three-quarter time, I don't think I've ever seen this before. Carlton did 1,400 metres that quarter, in the third quarter. North Melbourne 900. I've never seen anyone under 1,000 metres, which means that's taking the football by hand or by foot into your line, not sideways, into your line.
Saad comes tearing off the back of the centre square. Free kick for Cripps. Handball to Saad. Kicks inside the forward 50. McDonald spoils it away, but to a dangerous spot. Young hitting up. Knocks it to Williams, and he can walk it in. Williams has got 4. And we've got a new game high. It's beyond 10 goals now. 61 points Carlton's lead. And it's another Good Friday beatdown for the hosts. 19-6-120. North Melbourne 9-5-59. Carlton by 61 points.
There's a lot of standing round in the middle of the ground from some North Melbourne players, or just watching them as that goal went through. A lot of hands on hips, a lot of sort of the not wildly gesturing, but just you could see the either unsure or weren't you supposed to do that, or why aren't you doing that? A lot of just not knowing exactly how to stem the flow of this. Now, the game's well and truly gone, so we're not talking about a result affecting stem of the flow, but just how can we stop this? How, as a group, as an entire team, can we make sure that the rest of this game is back on an even keel? I just don't know what to do at the moment, the Kangas.
Restart in the middle. Sherry able to win the tap again. Out after it quickly. Wardlaw. He is desperate.
That's one way of doing it. Get desperate in the middle of the ground.
Carlton by 61 points. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Winning's a habit, so is losing, Lingy, and I just think that a lot of North Melbourne players just almost accept now that they're going to get beaten, and when it happens badly.
De Koning with the clearance, pokes it on, then knocking it on his Motlop. Kicked on goal quickly. It's through from Will White. He's got a couple. He was shoved as he kicked, and he dribbles it through. Everyone is getting in on this party at the moment for the Blues. 26-126 plays 9-5-59. 14 minutes into the fourth term. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling.
Well, I was just talking about attitudes and reflection on... years ago I was in Western Australia and I went for a walk and ran into North Melbourne players as they were going for their walk. And it was... when I spoke to them, they said, we hope to do well. And I thought, that's when there's two things, hope and want. And it's just like it was almost built in. We hope to do well. We're just not doing well. But, if we can do well, there's got to be something dragged out here to say, I'm not going to accept what's taking place. I cannot agree with what's here. If it is to be, it's up to me. Got to do something.
It's crazy who you can bump into on a walk.
Back in the middle, there's a free kick here for Carlton, and Lord's going to take it. Handpole away towards Hewitt. They're going forward again, the Blues. It's a team that struggled to score this year. They've already got 126 on the board as the kick beats the pack, rolls out of bounds, forward pocket. Today, Lingy, we have had runs of 5 unanswered goals, 6 unanswered goals in the third quarter, and now 5 again in this final term, and they're not done yet.
And it's that strikes me as a team that's, let's call them so-called best players, Davies Uniacke, Jai Simpkin, and that, don't really know how to be on-field leaders yet, how to work out what's going on, understand why the opposition are getting on top for a bit, and fix it out there. Not waiting till the breaks, not waiting for a runner to come out and tell them, actually understanding it themselves and fixing it amongst themselves with some assistance from the coach's box. So when your best players and your so-called leaders don't know what to do, well then good luck to the young players. They're taking their cues from you.
Young wins it down, back-to-back boundary throw-ins. Pack forms, and the ump says I'll have it, so we'll have another stoppage. Tim Hodges on the boundary.
Just watching Jacob Wiedering, he's back from the rooms. I think North Melbourne is going to be the story out of this day. I hope it's not Jacob Wiedering as well. So it's a right knee. He said he's not coming back on the ground, so this is going to be some big scans to see what sort of damage he's got to that knee.
Thanks, Hodgie. All over it down there as always. Motlop gathers in the pocket, stumbling, gets it on the boot near the goal line. The Roos get in the way though. Core picks it up. Handball goes straight to Cripps. He gets a kick away, straight up and down, still in the pocket. Core punches it away for the Roos. Stays in play. Cottrell onto it. Half forward flank now. Gets rid of it to Carroll. Sets it up to full forward. Up they go. Akers can't mark. Ball jars free. Motlop again. He's got 3 in the term. Matching the number on his back. And this is just one-way traffic and very ugly for North. 73 points. 21-6, 132. Plays 9-5-59. What are people going to be saying in the aftermath of this, Mick Malthouse, Cameron Ling?
Well, they're going to be saying, well done, Carlton. Good on them. They did what they had to do. But a lot of the discussion is going to be around North Melbourne. Mick, come back to my point about leadership and fixing up these runs. Look out there. Look anywhere on the field for North Melbourne and tell me who is even a semi-on-field coach for North. No one.
I've got a theory, though, Lingy, that if you're constantly in a losing side, you don't know how to win.
Yeah, that's a good call.
And then you go into a shell yourself because it's self-preservation. I am captain, but what am I doing? Winning is such a habit, and it's also a great confidence booster. At the moment, North Melbourne's clearly low on confidence, and their leadership is hidden. They're almost scared to come out.
They have not won more than 4 games in a year since 2019. More than 4 in any single season, and now 23 times in their last 29 games have conceded over 100. And today added to that list, so all bar 6 since the start of last year. Roos out of the middle. Davies-Uniacke short kick to Curtis, trying to stop the bleeding. They've conceded 6 unanswered. Kicks inside the forward 50. Haynes can't collect. Chera cleans it up. Blues back with it. Handball to Akers. Handball goes back to Silvani. Kicks down the line. Flying over the top, Davies-Uniacke. Fogarty gets a kind bounce. Got it on to Lord. Hand pass out in front of Walsh. A running man. He's off and moving. Kicks for Curnow. And the Colossus leaps up, takes it. Immediately moves it on. Spots a man in the pocket. Kicks it wide of Will White. He goes and gets it. The 2 W's with the great alliteration. He kicks across the half-forward line. Ollie Hollands collects, gives it back to Will White. Needs a better finish, the lefty. He kicks goalward. He dobs it from the pocket. And Carlton are humiliating the Kangas. White's got 3. Blowout mode in full effect. Carlton by 79 points. 19 gone in the final term. The Baggers 22-6, 138 North. 9-5-59. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, the worst thing you just said then, Corby, it's only halfway through it. It's halfway through it. What they've kicked 7 goals.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's the ease in which they're kicking the goals.
That's the one, isn't it?
It's not the. Yes, good on Carlton. They're doing everything right, but there was a side out there in the third quarter. Certainly the second quarter. The second quarter that showed if you have some resilience. Yeah. Then you might be able to stop the rot. That side's disappeared. I don't know where it's gone because
the hardest thing in modern footy isn't it meant to be transitioning the ball? And yet, how many times have we seen the ball today just go whooshka?
Yeah,
it's only got in there 5.
Amazing.
What's the 50 metre penalty? 50 metre penetration is 5'8". Is it 5'8"?
Yep.
They kicked 7 goals.
7 goals from 8 entries.
Oh, that's diabolical. That is diabolical.
Davies-Uniacke gets the clearance in the middle and a free kick going the way of the Kangas. It looks like Curtis maybe. Mark set 47 metres out. So I know Alistair Clarkson is contracted until the end of next year and not trying to be mischievous in the way of going about it. But will there be a conversation about how this rebuild is going, Mick and Lingy?
I'm loath to talk about the coaches, but I just don't have the side.
Curtis veers out to the left. His shot is out that way as well. To the goal line it goes. Punched away. Back into play. Onto it in the pocket. Larkey. Handball out to Sheasel, who gets rid of it. Constanti pulls out a special from the pocket. He curls it through. And that's a small highlight on an otherwise dark day for North. Carlton lead by 73, 22-6, 138. Plays 10-5, 65, 21 minutes into the fourth.
The questions around North Melbourne, I mean, they're going to be thick and fast this week, given the performance, and the questions are going to be asked around the Good Friday game and everything like that. I know there's more to it than just a game of football. But you got to look across the board and you see who's improved, who's getting better. Yeah. There are a couple of individuals that are improving. You know, a Curtis, Nick Larkey's a terrific player. I get that. I think Combin's coming along okay as a defender. Cherry's certainly in the ruck.
He's tailed off a bit.
Yeah, fair. But we love Wardlaw in the middle of the ground. But then I want to ask the question around the players who should be better in their so-called prime or entering it, who've played 100-plus games. So it's Davies, Uniacke and Simpkin. These types of players, they're the ones I'm going to be asking more of a question. Zerha, are they making the big leaps? Always a 666 infringement against North again. They've had 2 already, so Carlton will get a free kick.
This won't help their cause. It'll be another inside 50. Number 9. They've conceded 7 goals already. Carries the pack. Out the backs were wide. Handball to Durden. Mowed down in the Duursma tackle. Umpire says ball up. Full forward for Carlton. And we've just reached the halfway stage on the game clock now of the quarter. 22 minutes in, and the reason for that, there's been 10 goals in the turn. 7 goals to 3. Ball up, top of the goal square for the Blues. So it's going to be a long final quarter, which means that next game we'll take you to next. No late change. West Coast and Essendon. Tom Gross and Sardell Hooley, the 2 subs, will be pushed back. So we'll get you there for the start of that game following this one here. As Combin at fullback clears a defensive 50. There's a rebound for the Roos. Larkey, handball away to Powell, still at half-back, North Melbourne.
Powell with nowhere to go, has to go back to Daniel. His kick, nearly a turnover it is. Cottrell slaps it down, gathers the footy half forward for the Blues, and pinpoint. Leading out, the mark is taken by White, who goes short, and on the end of it, the sub in Lord. 25 out, Plum in front.
Well, White's an interesting play. Kicked 3, but use of the football's really beautiful. He's
Curnow running off and yelling out and pumping up the Blues faithful. Hooper Lord with that flowing mullet. His drop punt is pure. Even the sub's got a goal. And the Blues, they lead by 79 again. 23-6, 144, plays 10-5, 65. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. The jacket match coming up next. But right now, Mick Malthouse, Cameron Lee.
Well, again, we've been talking a lot about North Melbourne, but I mean, from a Carlton perspective, granted, I don't think they're beating much today, Mick, but Carlton have done what you'd hope they'd do. They dominated through the middle of the ground. Certainly early on, they set the game up through their great clearance work. Cripps and Hewitt and Chera and Walsh where they should. The forward line has looked slightly more multi-dimensional. I mean, clearly Charlie Curnow's still the key person down there, but different players with their movement patterns are bobbing up. Hard to know how good that is given who they're playing against.
But you can only do what you can do.
Yep, absolutely. So from a Carlton perspective, another step forward and as they try and rebuild their season.
Davies Uniacke slips over, wins it though. North get the clearance, but they're going in reverse. Sheasel, handball to O'Sullivan, caught. Motlop got him. So they had multiple handballs, and yet they were going the wrong way, and ultimately O'Sullivan caught with the Sharon as he slips over. Motlop puts it inside 50 again. Gee, big heavy collision. Durden there for the Blues, and 2 Roos, Duursma and McDonald. McDonald slow to get up. Combin fumbles a few times in the back pocket. They're hemmed in here, North. Daniel, handball to McDonald, tackled, somehow shoots a handball away. There's 3 Roos, all standing at half-back. O'Sullivan got it away towards Constanti. He gives it off to Duursma, kicks down the wing, turns it over.
Well, there's a problem, which just exactly what you just said, Corby, when you call 3 North Melbourne players together outside the front 50, they didn't go and assist and they didn't break. They were holding hands at the 50-metre line. And that's been a common thread at the moment where I don't think they're just working hard enough.
Silvani inboard to Chera, goes short to Walsh, who takes a juggled mark, and Sam Walsh has got it centre half forward for the Blues.
A couple of the big questions, I reckon, around North are going to come from the use or what they're getting out of their recycled players.
Oh, I'm glad you said that. Spit after that lingy.
I haven't loved much of what I've seen.
And does this speak to a broader issue for the league about, these are the best of the guys they can attract? So they've clearly been in for multiple players.
And the worst thing about that is you're saying multiple year contracts. So they're not going to get better. Parker will have a go, but Jack Darling, you're not saying he hasn't had a go, but
Walsh takes on Stevens on the mark, and in the end decides to lay it up. Forward pocket. Sherry flies for it, slips through his hands, close to the boundary line. Durden tackled out of play.
But if I'm a North Melbourne supporter, do I want to see Caleb Daniel playing at half-back, or do I want to see Zane Dersma? I'm basically going to get the same output from both players, because
you're going to get more growth, aren't you?
Daniel's not doing much, but Dersma's ceiling is much higher than Caleb Daniel's in the long run.
To Koenig, brings it down in the forward pocket, off to Hewitt to Durden. Hooked back by Cottrell towards the hot spot, very nearly Fogarty. Lands on his backside, coming through Motlop, swoops on the footy. Nowhere to go for him. Ball up.
Well, let's go to Jack Darling. The test is, what form did he have over the last 2 or 3 seasons?
Sherry takes it out of the ruck for the Roos, gives it to Stevens. His kick, a flower bag, dropping at McKercher. Still inside 50, the Blues. Lord goes in. Shovels it out. There's a whistle.
Pushing the back, I think.
Yeah, everyone stopped. And
it's a Carlton ball.
Free kick to the Blues.
Daniel on
Who's it?
Walsh.
Who's going to get it? Lord.
Lord, sorry.
Yeah, he went in and burrowed after the football.
To answer your question, Mick, he got dropped from one of the worst teams we've seen since Fitzroy.
I know, but he's also needed Kennedy to play good football. Kennedy retired. As soon as he retired, Kennedy, he was supposed to take over that mantle. Well, Jake Waterman kicked all the goals. So he didn't step into that breach and start kicking goals.
Cooper Lord, a mid-season draft pick out of North's VFL, playing against them here for the Blues. And he's got a couple. Young Cooper, Carlton by 85, a new game high. And they go past 150. 24-6, 150. Plays 10-5, 65. 27 into the fourth. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport.
9 goals in this last quarter to the Blues. We spoke with Todd Viney before the game, and he said a number of times the fact that they just haven't fought it out to the end over the last couple of weeks well enough, that they, getting heavily scored against in the last quarter is not on. It's not acceptable. We need to be better in that area, and expected it today. Well, they certainly haven't. They've been smashed again.
We just spoke about Jack Darling. That young kid there played for North Melbourne Reserves.
Yeah.
So, wouldn't it be? It's hard. It's hard because we don't want to be, saying negatives all the time. But you're better off going with a lot of kids, and sort the kids out, because that some will fail and some will go on and be good players. Jack Darling, he will give them no leadership because he relied so heavily on leadership, given where he was at that West Coast. And I feel like I'm picking on him. I'm picking on the fact that they have chosen a Jack Darling as opposed to a young kid.
Powell trying to run away on the wing, and he's caught by Williams, and we'll have a ball up. So City wing, there is still over 5 minutes on the game clock. Carlton lead by 85 points. 85. What an astonishing scoreline, and particularly in this final term when you look at those inside 50s. So Carlton have only had 12 entries and kicked 9 straight. 55 points leaked from 9 inside 50s. What did I just say? There was 12 inside 50s for 9 goals.
That's an astonishing strike.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. Work out what did the umpire let Sard have a second go at it?
The crowd has really thinned out too. So for a feature marquee game, you look around and there's empty seats everywhere, and yet at its peak there were 46,373 in for it. And North Melbourne, their marquee game on the calendar. And again, it is just heated out into a belting for the home team. As Durden marks here, centre half forward for the Blues. Man on the mark's probably 47 metres out. He's a lot of things, Corey Durden, but this may challenge him. See whether he's got it in him. Not a tall man, but to kick it a long way. He's going to pass it off. Spears the kick to his mate Motlop. Couldn't quite get it to him. Broken up on the way through by Darling. Picked up by O'Sullivan. The second cousin of Sam Walsh. He's caught. Young Finn O'Sullivan, picked 2 in last year's draft. I think Sammy Walsh is going to have the last laugh in the family party today.
Get the big Easter egg, you reckon?
Yes. 85 points, Carlton's lead. Half-hour mark and still 4.5 minutes on the game clock.
You leave him alone too, Benny.
You haven't
full time.
Righto, Mick.
Well, I'm only saying you've been
last week.
Well, I'm only saying Corby bought the chocolates and you've been eating them.
I've eaten Hodgie's share too. 85 points to the good. Carlton, McDonald out after it. Gathers 30 out from his defensive goal. Holding the ball.
No,
there were blues everywhere. Take your pick. I think in the end Durden's going to get it.
He is. So no prior opportunity. So what we ask of the player is, according to the rules, to make every attempt to dispose of the ball when there's no prior opportunity. In my eyes, that's exactly what Luke McDonald was doing. He was taking the ground, then he was trying to get rid of the ball, trying to do anything he could, and eventually did get rid of the ball.
Yeah. I find that incredible that that's a free kick.
It's different. It's different when they don't. When he has prior opportunity. Absolutely, you're done. You're caught holding the ball. But
2 first quarter goals for Durden, looking to add a third. Nothing doing across the face. Carlton lead by 86 points. Good Friday footy on ABC Sport. Still to come, the jacket match.
That's up next. There's no late change. Tom Gross and Sardell Hawley, the 2 subs. Basically a full-time final siren here will wind down. You'll be thinking, the footy's done for a day. Nope. Switched out across Perth Stadium. Big crowd, I'm sure. The West Coast Eagles hosting the Bombers.
Big game for the Bombers too, Corby.
Yeah, I must admit.
Danger game, Mick?
I'm a little nervous.
No, it's not a danger game. This will be easy.
Okay.
Keeps me on side. I hate saying about Essendon beating West Coast.
I did think about it as my Superdog pick this week, but went in another direction as Akers gets a handball away towards Lord, and again the Blues win it from the boundary throw-in. Sard to Carroll, kicks inside 50, and this is just way too easy in the final term. Williams marks centre half forward, 40 out.
Well, Williams was by himself, and his opponent was boundary side, if you can have boundary side in the centre of the ground, by 3 or 4 metres. All he needed to do was step across and be on him, and that would have forced the Carlton player to had to kick the ball long. So you hate thinking that they've given it up. Good Friday and all. You can't afford to give up.
Williams trots in for number 5. The drop punt is right and behind, so he's got 4. Curno's got 4. 3 for White, 3 for Motlop, 2 for Lord, 2 for Durden. Multiple goal kickers everywhere, and they've made the Blues look like the Harlem Globetrotters today. Carlton by 87.
Ball with the long kick in, creating a contest. Sherry, and then a ground level Sheasel. Back to Comben, off the half-back flank, back to Tucker. 1-2 with Sherry. Nowhere to go. Retreats with the handball. Sheasel on his non-preferred, kicks up to the wing, and Ollie Hollands comes in to take it. So a turnover. Blues back in possession.
with how long to go, do you want me to give the votes, Corbs?
Yeah, I think we'll start weaving them in, I reckon.
Alrighty.
Ollie Hollands wanted to move it on quickly to Louis Young.
If Zach Williams kicks one more, he might scrape into one vote, but he's not there yet.
Ooh. Ollie Hollands goes back to Haynes, and a little bit of junk time stats padding going on at the moment.
While we're doing this, I'm giving one vote to Adam Chera. I'm going to ignore the last minute of this game, a minute 55 to go. So bad luck, Zach Williams, even if you do kick your fifth. You're not getting there. Spoiled by North Melbourne. Out of bounds.
So one vote Chera.
50, one vote Chera. 2 votes I'm giving to the man I reckon just set things up, Charlie Curnow, for his 4 goals early. He's pretty much put the cue in the rack now, which is fine. This is party time. And 3 votes to Georgie Hewitt. Has been unbelievable all day long.
So he'd be leading their BNF, you reckon?
Oh, he'd have to be, wouldn't he?
Yeah. It's been excellent. Had 30 last week. He's had 33 today.
Clearances there, 12.
12 clearances, 21 contested.
Kicked a goal.
9 tackles.
Yeah.
12
Huge
clearances.
George Hewitt.
It's almost more than North Melbourne have had.
87 points the margin as we tick towards a finish here. In front of over 46,000 at its peak. North Melbourne have had their brakes beat off in this final term as Stevens kicking across the back line. That is a cardinal sin. Cottrell forces it down to Will White, who snaps goalward and he misses. It's been on a heater in this final term, Will White, and he's got 3 for the day. That's a behind there. Most of his touches have come in the final term, but he's Carlton by 88. It's a game high, Ben, as we tick towards a finish.
Kick goes up the middle, and the Blues are there once again, trying to get involved Walsh, but instead Durden goes in. Gets a handball to Hewitt. Out wide go the Blues. Off to Silvani. Chips it inside 50. Parker gets a fist in. Spills out to Logue. Fends one tackle. Gets a handball back. On the last line, Core. Clearing kick up towards the wing. Coming across his side, spoils it down away from Dersma. And a throw-in coming up, dock side of the ground.
So coming up, West Coast and Essendon. You'll be hearing that game across the network here on ABC Sport. Carlton by 88. They do play next week against Geelong. Interesting game that on Sunday. Big step up in class. And for North Melbourne, they're on Saturday in the twilight. A trip to Adelaide, a venue they've never won at, to play Port. As Darling for the Roos sends a hand pass down to half forward through the legs of Constanti. Picked up by Zerha. Pack forms around him. And the umpire calls for it. So 0-12 North Melbourne at Adelaide either one. Back there next week. They'll have to try and snap this 4-game losing skid and get humiliated today. An 88-point margin. 37 minutes gone, final turn.
Sherry taking it out of the ruck, tries to get a kick away. Nothing doing there. In they burrow. Simpkin picks it up. Handball to Powell. Powell with the running, flying shot on goal. He's got it. Back to 82 points is the margin. 37 minutes into this final term. 24-9, 153, plays 11-5-71. Mick Malthouse and Cameron Ling.
Well, you could feel the pain of that North Melbourne roar when that ball went through. They kind of cheered it, kind of just thought, oh, why couldn't we have more of those throughout the course of this game? It was a nice finish by Powell in the end. He's probably another one, Mick, who I think I've reeled off a couple of names like Simpkin and Davies Uniacke and Zerha. He's now up to game number 72. Probably needs to start making that jump. Start those types of players, some of them really high draft picks, just need to make that leap into All-Australian 40 type players, or maybe All-Australian players, and they really start dragging others along on that journey.
Yeah. O for leaders, thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to be the best player. You just have to be a player that won't accept defeat.
Back to 82 points. Sheezel with the clearance. The Navy train is gaining momentum. Well, for North, it's far from a Good Friday. Carlton, winners by 82 points.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
So the goal kickers, Curnow with 4, Zach Williams with 4, 3 going the way of Jesse Motlop as well as Will White. And then a couple to Durden, a couple to the Sublord, singles to Young, to Hewitt, to Akers, to Koning, Cripps, and also Chera. While for North Melbourne, 3 for Paul Curtis, 2 for Parker, the singles to Wardlaw, to Dersma the sub, to Larkey, Constanti, who kicked a great goal, and Zerha. They led by 31 at quarter time, Carlton, 20 at the half, 50 at three-quarter time, and they win by 82.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. With all the champions they like to send up, we'll keep our end up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
Blues with a couple on the bounce. They win by 82 points. The votes in the ABC Footballer of the Year: 3 for Hewitt, 2 for Curnow, 1 for Chera. Thanks to Tim Hodges, thanks to Ben Cameron, to Mick Malthouse, to Cameron Ling, to Stuart Hollywood Baker, and Adam the Cult Figure Jones back in the studio. The Blues by 82. We'll get an interview and send it through. But for right now, we'll send you to Perth for the jacket match. It's Essendon and West Coast. Clint Wilden. Clint.
Thank you, Corbin. Players in position. We're set for a start. I'm alongside Mitch Turner in commentary. Our experts will hear from them in just a moment. Peter Bell and Sharad Wellingham.